Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. You guys, oh my goodness. Last night, a channel called Sir Morbid X went live. This channel goes live all the time. I think they do lives like every night. And one of their main topics is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. The host, the owner of the channel, the host of the channel will usually bring several people on to talk about Gypsy Blanchard. Can you guys see me? I see where y'all say y'all are waiting for me. Can y'all see me? Or is there like a delay? Oh, it's a commercial. That's great. So this channel, Star Morbid, they go live every night and they bring people on panel. And a thing that they covered a lot is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And they are obviously not a fan of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. There were some people that comes on Star Morbid's panel that believes that Gypsy was never pregnant. There's some people that come on that believe that the baby belongs to Ryan. So this channel has caught Gypsy and Ken's attention. It has for quite some time. This is also the channel that claims were made about Ken cheating on Gypsy with a man. This is the channel that somebody came into the chat and said, "Hey, I had an affair with Ken Urker." And this channel brought this person up on panel. His name was like Cowboy Bear or something, and had Ken Urker up on panel saying, "I don't know who you are. I've never met you." And this Cowboy Bear saying, "Yes, you did. We slept together. I met you on Tinder. We met up at this hotel. I got a picture of you." Like, and Kim was like, "Well, release it. Send the picture to Sir Morbid because I don't know who you are." Well, last night, Sir Morbid was live with several people on his panel, including Becca Scoops, including Flawless Nina. If you keep up with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, you probably know who those two channels are because Becca Scoops started her channel literally off debunking Gypsy Rose Blanchard's claims, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's lies. Like, I was someone that at first kind of questioned, like, is Gypsy an abuse victim? Is Gypsy, maybe DeeDee was a horrible person. But when I started watching Becca Scoops comes with the facts. She was a nurse. Her husband is a retired detective or something like that. So, and she doesn't just come on and say, "This is what I think." She brings like documents. She goes over the interviews, the interrogations. Becca Scoops is literally the person that if you want to figure out the truth about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, go watch Becca Scoops. And then you have Flawless Nina, who is a different type of creator because Becca Scoops is very like just straight to the point, the facts. She doesn't get loose, hurt, cool. She's not yelling and cursing and acting, but Flawless Nina, like she gets up there. Like she will call Gypsy and Ken out their name. She will make comments about Ken, being gay and things like that. So these are two creators that make content about Gypsy. You know, debunking Gypsy's claims. Flawless Nina is the one that a while back put it out there that Gypsy and Ken weren't even together, that they were broken up. And Ken has continued to say that is not true. But either way, last night, Sir Morbid was live with Flawless Nina on his panel, with Becca Scoops on his panel, and with several other people on his panel. A girl named Haiti Joyless, which is an account that I follow. There was literally one, two, three, four, five, six, like six different people on panel, and Ken came up, and they started asking Ken questions, and he's like, "I'll answer any question you have." So we're gonna watch some of this because it was wild. It got wild, and there were some things that they were asking Ken that they were like, "That can't be, that can't be." And I was like, "Well, I think it can." There were some things that I was even like, "No, I think you can," because I think that happened to me. Also, one thing that I felt like, here's the thing: Sir Morbid, Flawless Nina, Becca Scoops, they all, have a channel where they talk about Gypsy and Ken, and they call Gypsy out on her lies. So of course Ken don't like them, right? Of course Ken doesn't like them. Just like I know Mama June doesn't like me. But like when Ken came up on the panel, he was like, "I hate you all." They were like, "Why?" Like I feel like they are very like, I don't know. I'm like, "Why? Come on, y'all know why he don't like y'all. Y'all talk about him. Y'all talk about Gypsy. Like, of course he's not gonna like y'all. Like, if Mama June ever come up on my panel and was like, "I don't like you," I would not be like, "Why don't you?" Like, I'd be like, "I know, like I know you don't like me." I understand. I cover you. You don't like the way that I cover you. So I get that you don't like me. It is what it is. Like if somebody did videos about my life every day, I probably wouldn't like them either. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought it was a little disingenuous for them to like, well, why don't you like us? Like, of course he don't like y'all. But anyways, we're gonna listen to the video. This video was 4 hours long, over 4 hours long. However, he did not come on panel until it was like 2 hours in. So we're gonna start not long after he came into the panel. We're not gonna watch all of it either because obviously I'm not gonna take this man's full content. You know what I'm saying? But we're just gonna watch a little bit of it just to talk about what him on panel. He was asked a question that I was like, come on, Ken, really? Like he was asked, do you think DeeDee deserved to die? And he wouldn't answer it. He would not answer and I'm like, nobody deserves to die. Like maybe she deserved to go to jail if what you think she did is what Gypsy told you. If you think that she abused Gypsy, then why not go to jail? Not unalive her. So let's go ahead and let's get into it, you guys, because I thought it was wild. It was crazy. All right.
The way he lied.
Ready? He's here. Ken?
Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going
How are
well.
you?
How are you doing, sir?
Much better now that you're
Oh,
here.
fantastic. Fantastic.
One at a time.
What's up?
Don't
Can y'all hear him? Y'all let me know if the audio is good.
bombard him.
Are you okay, Ken?
I'm amazing.
Are you safe now?
Tell us
Ken?
about it. Tell us about it.
I hate you guys, but I'm good.
Why do you hate us? Number one, why do you hate? Why, Ken?
Oh.
What do we do?
All right, let's move on.
I'm like,
Ken,
of course
you
we
said you hate
y'all.
us. Yeah, come on, man. What do you hate? What do you hate about? No, just be open. Just like you hate us because
You ain't us. What is it?
it's okay. Just
Is it the
let
truth
it loose,
that,
brother.
we put the truth out or that we make funny?
Do you want to talk about Fancy?
I
Ken?
think he lost us. I don't hear his car noise
He does go in and out a couple of times, but he's in for a good minute in a minute when he comes back in. So bear with us.
anymore.
Might be a connection issue.
Tongue.
Hey, Ken, are you there, buddy?
I'm here. Can you not hear me?
Yeah,
yeah,
we can
we
hear you,
can.
but so why do you want to talk about why you hate, I guess, this certain group?
Well, I mean, you guys do spread a lot of misinformation, but I'm here to correct it if you want.
Can you tell
Absolutely.
us some of the
Start where do you want to
misinformation?
start?
No,
Ken.
where do you want to start? Ask me anything.
Okay. Starlight, do you have anything that you want to ask?
I definitely have a question.
All right,
Okay,
let's
well,
start with Starlight first. Go ahead.
Now, to I'm not talking about your child because she's innocent. I'm just curious why Gypsy had her baby a whole month early and there was
Our baby was born at 36 weeks. She was a tiny bit early, but she was perfectly healthy and she never went to the NICU. She was a natural birth and she came home with us 2 days later and she's been incredible. She's been growing. She's been the best baby ever. And I mean, what else do you want to know?
Oh, I think that's amazing to hear.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. Next question.
Okay, well, my question was, so does that confirm that like you didn't hook up and cheat before Gypsy admitted?
Everything I've told you has been the truth.
Okay,
how much
that's all
did
I
the
wanted to
baby
know.
weigh? How much did the baby weigh at birth? I'm just
I'm not
curious.
gonna disclose that.
Wait,
Okay.
I have a question because he just said he never lied.
Okay, I don't know why he wouldn't disclose how much the baby weighed because in the People magazine article that they gave, I'm pretty sure they said the baby's weight, and I think we even talked about it about like, oh yeah, that's a good weight. I'll look that up. And sometimes people can be confused about what natural means. Like some people, and you guys tell me this in the chat, but when you say natural, some women mean like vaginal. They had it naturally vaginal. Some people, if they had a C-section, they'll say no, I had a C-section. also, when some people say natural, they mean no pain meds. Like I've said before, like, I had my baby naturally, like vaginally, but I daggum sure had a epidural. You know what I'm saying? So I think some people, like I've said that too before, like, oh, did you have your baby natural or C-section? Natural, and it doesn't mean. So I think sometimes like people just, yeah, see what I'm saying? Since I thought natural was vaginally and no pain meds. Well, I have pain meds and I had mine, some of mine vaginal, some of them C-section. So I think it could just be like a misunderstanding of it versus like somebody trying to lie. And here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Gypsy. I'm not a fan of Ken. I'm not a fan of any of the situation, but I do still try to see like where somebody could be coming from. And maybe that's a fault of mine. My husband actually says that it is that I give people like the benefit of the doubt when they're like not good people anyways. So that could be a fault of mine to try to be like, well, he might just meant like vaginally. Because Gypsy even said that. Gypsy even said she had her baby natural. And I think she meant as in vaginal, not C-section. Because she definitely had pain meds. So let's continue. And I'm trying to give like everybody the benefit of the doubt, with the situation, despite when I dislike people. Like I still try to be fair. I try to not let my dislike for someone like cloud my judgment when I'm like listening to them talk about something. Anyways, let's continue.
Never lied, and he did. You said in Natasha Cooper's live that Gypsy was on birth control. That is a lie. Yes or no?
No, it was not a lie.
Come on.
Okay.
So
my
she was
God.
on
But
birth
you
control.
But you also said in that same live that you guys were just friends and weren't having relations.
It was the first time that we met up, and we were just friends. Moving on.
Really? Also, keep in mind
Sure.
that Gypsy could have been telling him that she was on birth control. I'm not trying to cause issues, Ken, but she could have been
Mhm.
lying, and you might still not know the truth. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
No.
Ken, the way that Lifetime, the trailer for season 2 coming up here, we're gonna see in March, I believe, portrayed you. Do you feel like it seemed like you were confused, as if you're like, I didn't
That's how
want this
trailers are set up.
baby. I'm
They're
surprised.
set up to make you want to watch what the actual context of the conversation was, but you'll have to watch the show to find out what that context was.
Well,
So
yeah,
you're
I
telling us Lifetime set us up for
I'm not telling you that Lifetime did anything. I'm just telling you that trailers are set up to make you want to watch the episode for the full context. So if you want to watch the episode for the full context of that conversation that I had, you'll have to watch the show.
it just seemed like what you said in the trailer was you were surprised that, or you were disappointed that this baby was born the way it was, and you weren't even ready for it, and you thought
Nope.
you should have
Nope.
got the
I mean,
divorce.
like
The
I
divorce
said,
should
you'll
have
have
been
to,
settled first before you actually.
again, you'll have to watch the show to find out the full context of that conversation. I can't, I
Ken,
have
why
no
is
control over how edits are made.
Okay,
do
that's
you,
You'll
fair.
do
have to
you
watch.
happen to know why Lifetime is reaching out to TikTok creators?
I have no comment on that because, to be honest, I have no idea. I have nothing to do with any of that.
Okay.
Okay, I have a
That's crazy that Lifetime is reaching out to TikTok creators about Gypsy. Makes me wonder if they're working on something else, like a documentary about like the takedown of Gypsy or something like that. That's weird.
question. If the baby wasn't due until January 25th, why did Gypsy on Breeze
It
Live
wasn't
say that
the
she was supposed to
25th.
be
It
induced
was the
22nd.
22nd.
ago? Okay, but that's not my
Was
question.
it the 22nd, Ken?
Why did
The
Gypsy say
22nd was the original due date. Yes.
January. Okay, go ahead, Dee.
Yesterday was the due date.
so? When Gypsy was on Breeze Live 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, she said that she was supposed to be induced on that day. Why so early?
No, the original induction date was supposed to be the 16th, not the 22nd. And but the baby made an early appearance. But luckily, she was totally healthy and happy, and the doctor sent us home. There was no NICU, there was no C-section. It was a natural birth. I swear to that. I have no reason to lie about that. I have no motive to lie about that. That is the truth. and we got lucky, and I'm just happy and blessed that she was healthy, and everything has been great.
Has your mom, Raina, been able to see your baby?
Yeah, she came down and helped us for the first week. It was the four of us living in the house together for the first week,
What
and
house? Your house or the Blanchards?
my house in Metairie, and she stayed with us and helped us bring our baby into the world, and gave us a bunch of pointers, and helped us with accommodating her the best we could. And I thank my mom for that greatly, and it's been great so far.
So is Gypsy living with you permanently? Permanently. Sorry.
No, she's not. She can't. I spend a few days with her here. I spend a few days with her there, and we make it work as best we can.
So who
So
has the
you,
baby
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
full time?
Well, I mean, when she's with me, obviously we're all three together. When she goes back to cut off, it's her and her family there. And I try to come down when I can, but I also work full time here in Metairie, or in New
So,
Orleans.
but you don't get to take her home though, right?
There has not been an instance yet of me at home with Aurora by myself without Gypsy. Not yet.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know. I don't know if she's breastfeeding or not, so that would make sense if she
Is
is
she-
We're
is
breastfeeding. Why
she
you
feeding.
can't take her home?
Breastfeeding.
We're formula feeding.
Okay.
Okay.
Does
Alright.
Gypsy still suck baby bot? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, come on.
Well, if you're
That's
gonna get rude and
I'm sorry. It's in her
inappropriate, then I'm
book.
not
It's in her
gonna.
book. It's a fair question. It's in her book. I'll stop.
Did you read the book, Ken?
I have read the book.
And what
I'm
are your
not gonna
thoughts?
talk about the book. We're not gonna get into the book.
Okay, as someone, listen, there is some sore, the book is a sore subject for him. I don't know why, but I was like, is it because he 100% believes Gypsy is this huge victim that was horribly abused, and he just, he don't like the book upset him too bad, or like, but there is something with this book. You guys listen how he would not talk about the book. Like there's something going on with this book. I don't know what. Maybe it's because he knows she lied in the book. I don't know.
Why?
Why not,
I
Ken?
just don't want to. I don't want to.
It doesn't.
What are
make
your
him
thoughts
let's
about it?
respect
responsible.
that.
We're not gonna talk about this.
If you were to rate it 1
Are
to
you
5,
proud of
like
her book?
a
Are you
movie.
proud? Are you
I'm
proud
proud
of
of
it?
Gypsy for sharing her story, and that's all there is to say.
Were you at the book?
So he said, I'm proud of Gypsy for sharing her story, and that's all I have to say. He did not say, yes, I'm proud of Gypsy for her book. Something's off with this book. He's not proud of that book. He might be proud that Gypsy can tell her story, but he is not happy with that book, in my opinion.
Book signing?
Wait,
I was
hold on.
not. I had to
Question.
work.
You
I
had
I
to
have a
work.
question. I have a question, just real quick.
Go ahead.
You know, did you learn new things when you read the book?
That's a great
Of course.
question.
That's a good
Of
question.
course.
What did you
So,
But
was
learn?
I'm
there
not
a
gonna
lot of
talk about the book.
stories? Well, I'm not. I'm just generally asking. Like, were
Well, I
there
know you're
stories
asking
in
about it, but
there
I'm
that
not gonna talk about the book.
Was the
So we can move on.
was it
it must have been very emotional for you?
It's a very emotional story to read Gypsy's book.
how come
She's
you
been
didn't
through a
know
lot.
about that
but
stuff? If I'm just wondering. I mean, was it a surprise to you? Were you like,
Jay Bland, okay. Gypsy was a victim, from what I understand. Her mother did such horrible things to her. If you go and watch Becca Scoops, Becca actually, like Gypsy says, she had over 100 surgeries. There was like 4, I think. Gypsy does have a chromosome deletion disorder, which if you look into it, it causes issues. Like you would possibly end up in a wheelchair. Now, did her mom go the extra mile? Absolutely. Her mom did do things like her mom had what they think is not Munchausen by proxy, not factitious disorder, but malingering, I think. But the disorder that Gypsy had would cause for her to need a CPAP. Like kids that have it do have sleep apnea when they're young. Even even Gypsy's grandparents talked about her having sleep apnea. You know, so yeah, malingering is what it's called. So there's a lot that of things that Gypsy's mom did that go along with this chromosome disorder that she had, that would cause these things. Now, the shaving of the head, no. They definitely scammed people, but there's a lot of people that believe that Gypsy was a part of the scam, and I think that Gypsy was probably a part of the scam. DeeDee was like bedridden when this happened. When Gypsy unalived her and had Nick unalive her, DeeDee was literally bedridden. She was very overweight. She had issues with her feet. Like she couldn't really do anything. It probably wouldn't have been much longer before DeeDee passed naturally herself. She had, what all did the autopsy show that she had? And I think there was more evidence that like DeeDee was scared of Gypsy, and Gypsy was like mistreating DeeDee versus like when she was a kid, up until she was like 8 years old, everything was kind of normal. It was when they moved and they were no longer in Louisiana around family to where she put her in the wheelchair. But the wheelchair thing is with the chromosome disorder that she had. It could cause you to like get winded easy and get tired easy if you were going to be walking a good bit, right? So, well, that's the thing is, I think her mama played into it to con people. But Gypsy saying she's, oh, we never got out of the house unless we were going to the doctor's appointment. She went to Disneyland like 4 times. One of the friends of DeeDee's that lived in the area said DeeDee was always scoring them tickets to the theater, to the movie theater. They went every week. And she wasn't getting them just for DeeDee and Gypsy, but for like the neighbors and their kids too. And she's like, I didn't know how we could afford it, but she always had them. So watch Becca Scoops. There's a lot that plays into it. I'm not saying DeeDee was innocent, but I'm also not saying that DeeDee did all that Gypsy said. If you watch Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and you read her book, you will find things that Gypsy has completely changed. Completely changed. I have a TikTok up about it where Gypsy says that she was an addict, that she was addicted to pain pills, and that her mom didn't know about it. Initially, she said her mom did not know about it. She had to sneak behind her mom's back to do it. And at one point, her mom almost caught her and asked her, like, are you taking the pain meds? And she said no. And then later on, she said that her mom did know about it. And her mom fed her these pain pills. This is after her mom passed away. She's changing her story. And Kale Lowry was like, do you think your mom gave you the pain pills as a way to like keep you hostage? And she's like, yeah, I think she did. So she's contradicted herself so much. And two, the prosecutor said that Gypsy's lawyer said that the reason they took a 10-year prison sentence, that the reason they took a 10-year deal is because he was scared that if they went to court, like he knew the prosecution had enough to put Gypsy away for life. This is her own attorney. Like it was like they took a 10-year deal because she hasn't had over 100 surgeries. Has she had surgeries? Yes, but not over 100. So was it a bad situation? I do think it was a bad situation. Do I think it was? It definitely wasn't what Gypsy made it. Gypsy also said that she shot her mom with a BB gun. And in Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she said they had gotten into it. She was ready to leave. And her mom had found her bag and realized that she was going to leave again. And so she grabbed the gun, her mom's gun, off the table and just unloaded it. Just boop, 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 boop. And she was like, and she was so shocked to see that it was a BB gun. And that she was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, which I immediately regretted it. And I was glad that it was a BB gun, but I was shocked to find out that it was a BB gun. Well, then on Kale Lowry's podcast, she talks about the BB gun thing. And Kale says, well, did you know it was a BB gun? She's like, oh yeah, I knew it was a BB gun. And she even says, there's some articles out there and there's some, stuff out there that says I didn't know it was a BB gun, but no, I knew it was a BB gun. She's the one that said she did not know that it was a BB gun. She has changed her stories about when she left to go meet Dan, how old Dan thought she was when she went to leave. At first, it was her neighbor. She hitched a ride with that she went to her neighbor's house, knocked on the door. It was this old man. It was 2:00 in the morning. And she asked the man, will you bring me to my boyfriend's house? or to the hospital where my boyfriend is. So the old man took her to the hospital where her boyfriend was. And then it was she hitchhiked to his house. Like her stories have changed so much. I'm not saying that some things probably didn't happen. I do think her mom was a con artist. I think DeeDee conned people. But if you literally, there's no way that Gypsy talked to Nick as much as she did through texting and through laptop and phone text that her mom was not aware. They were constantly talking and texting. She was dressing up in like dominatrix outfits with like, red hair, holding knives to her face, like literally holding a knife to her face. Like this was not some little innocent girl that, and she said that Nick introduced her to like kinky, uh, you know, uh, dominatrix, her being submissive. She said that Nick introduced her to that when Dan, the first guy that she was involved with, said that when they started talking, she introduced him to it, that she was into that kinky stuff. And this was him in his interview with the police. He tells the police, like, yeah, she was into this weird kinky stuff. He didn't know that she went on to like do it with Nick, but she told everybody that Nick was into it and he's the reason, like he forced her to be into it. Like if you see the picture, like there's no way there's times where she's like, I didn't have a phone, my mom had a phone. But then she's like, my mom, I left and my phone fell out of my bag. Like the one time, several times she says, I didn't have a phone. I wasn't allowed to have a phone. My mom had a phone. My mom had a laptop. I wasn't supposed to be using it, but I would use it when she wasn't looking. Girl, Nick would literally be like, hey, text me, don't message me, text me from the phone. She'd be like, okay, dear. And like then you see he's texting her at random times, hey, are you awake? To this phone that's supposedly her mom's, that they're hiding this. And then she says, that she didn't have a phone, that it was her mom's, and she snuck it. But then when she says that she snuck out the first time that she left to go see Dan, that she accidentally dropped her phone and her mom found it and read the text messages. So it doesn't add up. Like this stuff, it's a lot. So check out Becca Scoops. She's got all the background, like a lot of it. The information about the medical diagnosis, how the chromosome disorder that she has would make sense for her to have like a feeding tube or maybe not a feeding tube, but how it made sense. Not saying DeeDee did not go above and beyond, but not to the extent that Gypsy is telling us. And there's things that Gypsy added to this to make it worse. Let's continue anyways. All right. Now this is Ken talking with Sir Morbid. Becca is going to come back on here, and then Nina's going to come in just a little bit.
Whoa, Gypsy. Wow, you didn't share this with me? I mean, we have a baby together and
We're going to move on from the book conversation.
Hey, I'm back. This is Becca Scoops. Hi, Ken. I have a question in this.
I want to just say, and I'm going to pause a lot. I'm so sorry. I want to just say I respect and appreciate how Becca Scoops, despite she probably don't like Ken, she came in very respectful. And somebody in the chat kept saying, why are y'all being nice to him? Why are y'all being nice to him? Like he's a piece of crap. And it's like, if you have a YouTube channel where you talk about somebody and then they jump in, you're not just going to attack them. Like, first off, like we make money doing this. To have somebody that we talk about jump in on a live is going to get, they had 1,000 people in there watching at one point. This dude was getting super chats. So it would be dumb for a creator to be mean to anybody on their panel. It's unprofessional. It's disrespectful. No matter, just like when Amber Portwood jumped on my live, I was not rude or nasty to her, even though I don't like her, even though I don't think she's a good mom. I'm going to still be professional. So I just thought it was really weird. I appreciated that Becca Scoops stayed professional. And I thought it was weird to the people in the chat. Was like, why are y'all being nice to him? Because they're being professional. That's why. I mean, not all creators were being professional, but some were.
Might be a really stupid question. I was out walking my dog. I'm a dog lover too, Ken. Did you guys say, or did Ken say that Gypsy had an induction date of like January 16th? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so induction meaning, I know I only had 3 kids. I wasn't an OB nurse, but meaning they would induce labor on the 16th, right?
Correct.
So they weren't going to let her go into like natural, just like go into spontaneous labor, right?
I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm just saying that
Okay, so like
Usually they
let's say
don't
your due date.
induce.
Usually
the
when it
original due date was the 22nd, and we decided
right.
with our
They
doctors
usually
to
they don't
induce.
induce with a
Yeah,
first
they don't
pregnancy until you're past your due date.
Well,
so
that's
here
not
here's
always true.
can
For
I
just to
can I
All
talk?
right,
clarification.
hold
Go
on.
ahead,
Let Becca
Becca, go
go.
ahead.
So
Having time.
usually Ken, what happens is like when you have a due date, which for Gypsy it would be January 22nd, I think you guys were saying, especially with the first baby, which is usually late, not early. You don't induce labor. You don't induce labor, period. You want that baby to be bacon
Of
in the
course,
oven as
we
long
want it.
just let me
Yes,
talk,
and
as
we
long as possible. Now, I'm only asking because that you guys brought up that, and I'm not trying to catch you in anything, Ken. Trust me, I'm not a mean person. I'm just trying to understand because we know that Gypsy had some health issues, and I'm wondering if that was why the induction date, like her OBGYN was like, look, let's, or maybe you don't know, Ken. Maybe you don't
I
know.
was wondering that
I
too.
know.
I will say I've had 6 kids, and there was people on there that's like, I got 2 kids. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, but I think you're wrong because here's the thing. All doctors are different. When I had my daughter Paris, who will be 20 in March, so way back then, I started having preterm problems at like 28 weeks, right? I got from the hospital a couple of times. I was on bed rest at the end, but at the end of my pregnancy, I was having some issues. So he induced me like 2 weeks early because I had been on bed rest. Like, it was like 2 weeks early that I think he induced me with that one. Maybe even 3 weeks early. Trying to, I was also induced with my second preterm problems. I had to be on bed rest for several months. So it was like maybe a week or 2 early. But I was having preterm problems where it put me on bed rest, and I was on bed rest for a good while. So he was like, well, we'll just, rather than making you wait the last week or 2 or 3, we will induce you. Thank you. But you want to know what they did? They did ultrasounds. They checked my baby's size. They checked, to make sure my baby was a decent size. And so here's the thing. It could have been possible that because Gypsy and Ken don't live together and Ken works, and because he lives in a different city or town or whatever, maybe he lives like, I've heard he lives like an hour away. I don't know if that's the case. Yeah, not a whole month early, and I'm gonna get to that. I've heard he lives like an hour away. So do I think it would be odd for them to do it like a week or so early? No. Now I will say by the time my third one came along, my husband worked offshore, and we wanted to make sure that like I had the baby within the first like 2 or 3 days he was home. That way I would have another couple of he would be home. Like I think at that point he was still working 21 days at a time. So if we induced, 2 days after he was home, he still had a good time home with me to be there with me, right? So when we went in to talk to the doctor about that, about, "Hey, can we induce, like, 2 days after my husband's home?" He was like, "Well, you'll only be this far along at this point, and we don't do it that early anymore." So he did tell me, he says, "We don't do it that early anymore because." And I was like, "Well, you did it early with my daughter." And he's like, "Yeah, that was 6 years ago, and that was before." Like, since then, like, there's been, like, in my office, we've done it early, and there's been some long issues. So, like, we're not doing that now, anymore or whatever. So, I'm gonna make y'all, wait. Like, we're gonna have to go like at least an extra week. And I was like, okay. But still, I think it was like a week early, so my husband could be there for it. So I was still induced a week early. Now I had my son Christian at 36 weeks. I had preeclampsia, and I had a doctor's appointment, went in, developed I had preeclampsia, sent me right on over to the hospital. I had the baby. My He did not have to go to the NICU. He was 30 because there was other people when he said, 36 weeks, didn't have to go to the NICU. There was people in the chat that was like, no, if the baby was born 36 weeks, baby would need to go to the NICU. I had a son that was born 36 weeks, did not have to go to the NICU. I had a son that was born at 32 weeks, had to go to the NICU, was in the NICU for 12 days. So I do feel like doctors do different things because my first 2 kids, like my doctor did induce, I can't remember. I think with her, it was like 3 weeks early. Maybe I was like 37 weeks. And then with my second, I was 38 weeks. But then by the time I got to my third one, he was like, well, we don't do that anymore because I've delivered, a couple early and they had some, breathing issues because their lungs weren't fully developed. So we're not doing that anymore. So yeah, a week early, I think they do that. Yeah, I'm saying the 36 week. With the 36 week, that's not a regular birth. That is a health issue. I don't think they're going to induce at 36 weeks, which again, he's saying that's not what happened because they were trying to say, oh, because there was a scheduled induction. So she was due on January 22nd. They had an induction date on the 16th. Which was 5 days early. So at one point they were saying there's no way they would induce 5 days early unless there was a medical issue. And I'm like, I think they would. 5 days is not like that, if they do an ultrasound and the baby is measuring good, if they're doing it to make sure he can be there because he lives an hour away, or if I literally saw people in the chat saying, happened to me, like my doctor was gonna be out of town for his dad's birthday, induced me a week early, induced me 5 days early. So it will happen. But that wasn't even, it was this big like argument over if a doctor will induce you a week early, just because that was what was supposed to happen. Just because that's what was supposed to happen, because that's what Gypsy and Ken said. Due date January 22nd. The plan was an induction on the 16th. And everybody's like, no, that's not possible. That's not going to happen. And I'm like, I think it would because I saw people in the chat saying, yep, happened to me. And I'm like, I think so. Like a week, 5 days is not that big of a deal. I don't see them doing it, any more than maybe a week. But yeah, 36 weeks, I have preeclampsia, had the baby, no NICU. Let's continue to listen.
Everything because I was there for everything. I went to every appointment. I went to every doctor's appointment.
Good.
And the baby was originally set at a due date of the 22nd. That's based off of, the beginning of the pregnancy. And the doctor decided that, hey, let's go ahead and induce on the 16th at earliest. And the baby made an earlier appearance. Luckily for us, she was born totally healthy and never had to go to the NICU. It was not a C-section. It was a natural birth. And
Okay.
So that's what he's saying. You heard how he said it was not a C-section, it was a natural birth. So he's meaning like he came out the hoo-ha. He's not saying she had no pain meds.
I'm so happy, and I'm sorry I was out of breath. I was walking my dog and I was running, and someone in the chat was like, doesn't have good energy. Well, I'm sorry, I was running.
Lawrence, I got a little frustrated at times. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my goodness, it's not like having babies. Everybody's experience is different. Even doctors are different. There are literally doctors that may induce a week early. There's doctors that are hardcore no. Like after that happened at my doctor's office, he was hardcore. Like I'm not going to do it any earlier than this, even though he had in the past. But because in his office they had done it, and there had been babies born with breathing issues and their lungs not fully developed, it was a hardcore no. So I definitely think it depends on the doctor, like, and if they decide they're going to do it, it has to be reasons.
Yeah, well, thank you for answering that. That was just interesting about having an induction date, and we, us, we want to know everything, So thanks.
What I do.
That's what I wonder, Brittany, if she was
I'm a
full
little
time.
disappointed because you said man to man that we were going to have. If there was an interview, you and I would have that one-on-one.
I did, and I still stand by that. But you have to understand,
dude, you were on the Vial Files, right?
Okay. Well, listen to me. I have contractual obligations, and I have
lifetime.
I have a parent company that oversees those obligations. So if I have to have permission to do live one-on-one interviews, and that's the reason why, yes, I'm allowed to go on Vial Files or whatever because I get permission from the network. However, I cannot do a one-on-one interview with you because I do not have permission from the network, and that is the reason why. It's not because I've gone back on my word. It's not because I was lying to you or fibbing to you. Okay. That is just that's the reason.
That's
so you have
fine.
to understand there's contractual obligations that I have.
So
Is there like a
when does that contract end so we could get that done?
that's gonna be my
I don't
question.
have an answer for you right now. I mean, I'm still under contract right now. This is not considered a one-on-one interview, so
No,
I'm
it's
just
not.
talking to you at the
All right.
moment. But as far as the one-on-one interview goes, if that time comes
I'm going to
when
hold
I'm
you
no
to it, buddy.
longer okay,
I
and
got
that's
your
fair.
information. I got your contact. So
I have another question. So you said that the induction date was the 16th. So why did it get moved up?
It didn't get moved up. The baby decided to come when she came.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
she
All
went
right.
into spontaneous labor is what he's
I
saying.
gotcha. But
Yeah.
right, because it wasn't a C-section. Okay, gotcha.
I I'm listening to this and I think Ken sounds like Ken. Does he maybe have like a little lisp or something? Like maybe he did in the show and I didn't notice. Maybe he didn't in the show and he does now. Maybe he has dentures. He wasn't wearing them. I don't know what the case is on why he sounds a little different or whatever, but I did see a lot of people like bringing up that he sounds different. And I saw a lot of people saying like, you sound like you have a lisp. And there were even people making fun of him over like having a lisp. And I'm like, my son has a lisp. And he's 11 and he may always have a lisp. So, I don't know if Ken already had a lisp and we just didn't notice it because we were watching him on TV, and now we're only listening to him through an audio. Or maybe maybe he had been drinking. I don't know. That's very possible. That maybe he had been drinking. He's an adult. I think he works at like a restaurant that sells alcohol, like an Applebee's or something. But she was driving, so hopefully not. Hopefully not. But maybe he was drinking. I don't know. But I'm like, I hope people don't like. I don't want people picking on people just because they think they got a lisp. Because like my son got a lisp, and he's already a little like it bothers him that he has a lisp, And I'm like, it's you, like that's you. It's fine.
That makes way more sense.
Ken, in the back of your mind, do you ever wonder maybe this is Ryan's baby?
Well, because of the fact that we've already done a paternity test and posted those results, and I understand there's a whole tinfoil hat community that wants to believe that everything we post is fake or bullshit or photoshopped. I literally have no motive or reason, personally speaking for myself, to lie about that. So I'm telling you with 100% certainty, because I did a paternity test, that is my child. And I have absolutely zero reason to lie about that.
What kind of
I believed it was yours. I just didn't know if maybe you guys hooked up sooner than you said,
Right.
No, that's not necessarily true. And
Oh,
the,
I was
the
just saying what
Necessarily
my
true.
train of thought was. Like, I didn't know. I'm not you,
Right.
so.
Okay.
nothing I have ever said to anybody on any live panel, podcast, etc., has been a lie. So if you want to believe, and
Are you
there's
sure,
I know
Ken?
that there's a community out there that wants to
Because we all
believe.
lie, Ken.
Listen, of course we all
Well,
lie, but I have not lied about my child. Now,
No one.
I know there's a
Okay.
whole community out there that wants to believe that.
Every day I'm hustling.
Oh, that song could get me in trouble. I think 1,000% when the first pictures we saw of these two together, they were holding hands. The first picture we saw of these two together, she's like hand all on his head. The first pictures we saw of these two together, they definitely looked like they were very comfortable with each other. When they did the live stream where they went live with Natasha, and they was like, the question was asked, like, "Are you pregnant?" And she's like, "I'm on birth control, huh?" And he's like, we haven't even done anything. He looked back at her. She looked at him. I did not believe that for a second. It looked like they were not being honest. So I definitely think the first weekend that he went in to see her, they bumped uglies. That's just my opinion. Now they have told a different story and they are sticking to it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's their life. If they would have did it that early, in that first visit, that was right after she left Ryan. And she was already getting heat for the fact that she left Ryan. So, they're probably like, we're not going to tell that we did it that early. Let's at least act like we waited, longer than a week. Let's at least act like it was like a month or something. But no, I definitely think they they did the grown up for sure. That's just my opinion. But they've told the lie, so he's sticking with it, in my opinion. I think he's sticking with the lie. But I think if it was me, okay, I'm gonna pull like I'm like, why you care about when I'm doing the grown up with ugly people with ugly people? That just came out on its own. I did not. Where did that come from? Because I thought maybe because I saw what you said, Lily. Elle said bump uglies. But I would be like, why do you care when I'm doing the grown up with other people, or why do you care, who I'm doing the grown up with? Or anyways, whatever. Let's keep going.
I'm
It's
just
not.
talking to you at the
All right.
moment, but as far as the one-on-one interview goes, if that time comes when
I'm going to hold
I'm
you
no
to it, buddy.
longer okay,
I
and
got
that's
your
fair.
information. I got your contact. So
I have another question. So you said that the induction date was the 16th. So why did it get moved up?
It didn't get moved up. The baby decided to come when she came.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
she
All
went
right.
into spontaneous labor is what he's
I
saying.
gotcha. But
Yeah.
right, because it wasn't a C-section. Okay, gotcha. That makes way more sense.
Ken, in the back of your mind, do you ever wonder maybe this is Ryan's baby?
Well,
I'm so glad he asked this question.
because of the fact that we've already done a paternity test and posted those results. And I understand there's a whole tinfoil hat community that wants to believe that everything we post is fake or bullshit or photoshopped. I literally have no motive or reason, personally speaking for myself, to lie about that. So I'm telling you with 100% certainty, because I did a paternity test, that is my child. And
Y'all go to y'all's husbands and be like, hey, you want to do the grown up? Want to go bump some uglies? See what they say. There was people questioning the paternity test too. Like there was people that's like, I don't believe the paternity test is real. There was literally a channel because Gypsy Blanchard used what company DNA test? Whatever company she used, it was on the DNA test. And there was a YouTuber that went to that site and looked at the site and saw like other DNA tests that showed, and it did not look the same as Gypsy's. So people thought that maybe she just got one off the site and edited it. And here's the thing. Unfortunately, because of the life that Gypsy has lived, I can't say I put much past her. Like, could I see Gypsy Blanchard, someone that rode in a wheelchair until she was 24 and unalived her mom, ran off to live with her boyfriend Nick, and then when the cops called her and they were like, your mom's dead, she was like, wait, what? What do you mean dead? No. Did she kill herself? Like, so I could, in my mind, I could see her being like, let's do a DNA test just to shut the haters up, okay? Swamp, womp, womp, envelope. I'm going to go drop it in the mail, walk out to the mailbox, stick it in her back pocket, run back in the house, got it dropped off, and then boop, 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 on a computer, like typing one up, and then mail it to herself. I don't know. Like, hey, we got the just like I could literally see that, like 100%. And maybe you guys couldn't, but I could. That's just I could. Oh, okay. Shauna says Gypsy's DNA test looks real. It looks just like my son's did when he just took one with his daughter. If it was legit, I don't think it was. Some people think that it was. Some people think that it isn't. Now, I do think, listen, I was asked, like, do you think she's faking the pregnancy? And I was like, no, I think that's a little extreme. But then I saw the videos of her belly, like big, little, big, little, big. And I'm like, I've been pregnant 7 times. Like, okay. How are you going from big to small in a day? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I questioned it. I was like, I started feeling crazy. I was like, am I going crazy? Or is the picture like I was watching YouTubers showing her belly where one day it would be big, noticeable. And then literally the next day, not big. And I'm like flat. And I'm like, are they like, maybe we got the dates wrong? Like maybe this photo wasn't taken the day after this one. Maybe it was taken 2 months before this one. Like maybe we just don't know the dates and they're out of order. Like, listen, I'm driving myself crazy about it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to believe that there's a baby. Because surely at this point, like Ken, Christy, and Rod, and Mia, and all of them would not just play into this fake baby situation, right? Would they? Shame on them if they would. So I'm going to go with, I believe she had a baby. I'm just going to go with that. Now, do I think the DNA test is real? I don't know. I don't know. Why wasn't it done through the court system? Because it has to be done through the court system, from my understanding.
I have absolutely zero reason to lie about that.
What kind of
I believed it was yours. I just didn't know if maybe you guys hooked up sooner than you said, you know?
Right.
No, that's not necessarily true. You know,
Oh,
the,
I'm
the,
just saying what
Necessarily
my
true.
train of thought was. Like, I didn't know, you know, I'm not you,
Right.
so.
okay.
nothing I have ever said to anybody on any live panel, podcast, etc., has been a lie. So if you want to believe, and I
Are
know that
you
there's
sure,
I know
Ken?
that there's a community out there that wants to
Because we all
believe.
lie, Ken.
Listen, of course we all
Oh, I'm
lie, but
just
I have not lied about my child. Now,
No one.
I know there's a
Okay.
whole community out there that wants to believe that there was a fake pregnancy and that it's a fake baby, and there's nothing that I can do to change your mind. Minds that have been made up on irrationality cannot be changed.
for the record,
I can't help you.
I never
So
thought
if
the
you,
baby was fake.
I'm
I
not
think that
saying
whole
you
theory is
did. I'm not saying you
ridiculous.
did. I'm not speaking to you directly. I'm just saying to anybody listening who wants to believe that this was a fake pregnancy, that Gypsy wore a fake belly. I mean, it's just so fucking insane that I
I don't
can't
believe
even
any of
try.
that.
But she rode in a wheelchair till she was 24. Like, she allegedly sucked a Bible until she was 24. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, if this was anybody else, any regular smegular person, where it was like, do you really believe she would fake a pregnancy? Well, not a regular person, but somebody that like lied their entire existence with it, and they lied about big stuff. Like, you know, they went along with the lies about cancer and I can't walk and I can't eat and I can't breathe. Literally, I can't walk, I can't eat, I can't breathe, I can barely talk. Like, she went along with these things, you know. So it's like, then you got to question yourself, you know. Like, you got to question, like, would she do that? See, and I mean, like, but we got a question. Like, they filmed the DNA test. Did she really put it in the mailbox? Was it only done because, as somebody that has covered reality TV, I now understand how fake reality TV is. Reality TV will have you believing somebody did a surgery that they didn't do. Yeah, I remember Mama June when Mama June came back on air and she was getting into shape for her surgery. They had a woman wearing a fat suit. She had already had the surgery. She was wearing a fat suit. Because, okay, they started Mama June, like, they're not, this production company's not going to go film Mama June, go to the doctor, and the doctor say, well, you have to lose 50 pounds before we'll do the surgery, and watch her, you know, hire a professional trainer and her meet that goal to have the surgery if it hadn't already happened. Like, it already happened. Because what if she wouldn't hit the goal? You know what I'm saying? It would have had to be canceled. She had already hit the goal. She was already like on, like, so what they did is they put her in a fat suit and they filmed her in a fat suit. And then they filmed her in a fat suit working out. And then every other week when she weighed in, she was a little bit skinnier until she lost the 50 pounds and had the surgery. Like, reality TV, people don't live in the houses they film in. People don't have the spouses you think that, I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. So, you know, back in the day, I might would have been like, well, it was on the show, so it was legit. But I've covered reality TV enough now to know the reality TV is not reality.
I never
To
thought
Just
that.
for the
That's just
record,
weird.
have a
I
rational conversation with that person because it's just so ridiculous that I don't even want to, honestly.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So
I-
we got the initial photograph of the baby, and it looks like it came from Christy, correct?
what?
I don't know. I mean, that picture was talking about the
I mean,
picture of
according
me
to
hovering
Gypsy,
over a Gypsy.
it came from Christy, and she wasn't pleased about. She said that on Breeze Live.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about because, to be honest, I don't follow the TikTok drama.
No, there's only
I
one
don't know.
picture of you in
Correct.
the
Yeah,
hospital.
that's a photo that I released. I posted on my Instagram.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
it
didn't
can't be
take
like
it, so
that.
somebody took it.
No,
And,
yeah, I didn't take it.
and I
I
believe it
can't
was
recall who took
Christy.
it.
Is it fair to say?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, who took the picture.
I'm just saying,
There was
Gypsy said that it was Christy, and she was kind of pissed.
maybe it was.
Dude,
I
come on,
couldn't be
you
sure.
know, you were there, bro.
I'm telling you right now, I swear to God, I'm not entirely sure who took the picture. We had a lot of people come in and out of our room,
All
and
right.
I don't remember exactly who took the picture.
All right. So I'm going to release
I
it
have
to
a question.
TMC and People's Magazine.
I have a,
Alva,
I
I
mean,
do have a question.
okay,
Well, it
it's
was
already been
gonna get out
released, but
anyway
go
because
ahead.
Ken posted it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
real quick.
okay. Did Starlight, are you saying something?
Yeah, there question from the chat from Nelly. She was wanting to know how you feel about the Petries speaking out.
I have not listened or watched anything on that, so I have no comment or anything to
Okay.
say. To be honest, I've
Okay.
been fully focused on my child, who is almost 4 weeks old, and that's been the forefront of my focus. And I have not been paying attention to the internet drama or
But
whatever
you're
you want to
here.
call it that's been
Okay.
happening.
Well, number
since then.
one, congratulations on your first.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
nobody in this realm wants to ever talk about your child. Okay.
No.
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for
Bear with me,
functionality
guys.
and
Because that's not the subject we want to cover. So you have our word that's not something we care about in that sense. Okay. So hopefully you
Okay.
know that. There may be other
For some of
creators
you,
or whatever
sure.
that want to go that route, but that's not something that's important to us at all. So I just want to make that clear. So
I have a question.
congratulations.
So
as
what
a
creators
first-time
are you
father.
talking about exactly?
I'm sorry?
What creators are you talking about exactly?
I don't know.
You
Because
don't
there's so
know?
many out there.
There's so many.
And
yeah.
and they would go after your kid. I
How
wouldn't be
about some ones
surprised.
that have been on your main panel for weeks?
Such as
Anybody
who?
come to
Who?
mind?
I'm sorry?
I'm
Who?
asking you.
Me?
I'm asking Morbid. This is your panel, correct?
You're saying that someone on my panel went after your kid?
I'm asking you.
Okay.
Has anybody?
No.
Not that I know
Not
of.
that I know of.
Okay. All right.
Do
We'll
you know
move
of
on.
anyone?
No, we'll move on. I don't. To be honest, I
Because I
don't
would
watch your
definitely want to
lives
know.
all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean if you know of
No,
anyone,
no,
please
no,
let me
no.
know.
I was just asking.
Because that's not
But we
appropriate.
can move on.
I wouldn't encourage that behavior. By the
Yeah,
way,
no.
we have Pink Pony Club in here.
Hey, Pink Pony Club.
All right, it's about to get really interesting because when Gypsy Rose had her book signing, the Pink Pony Girl was going to go and protest in the name of DeeDee Blanchard. Like she was going to be there to protest and to support DeeDee or whatever. And she was kicked out. This Pink Pony person was kicked out and not allowed to be at the book signing. And Ken says that he had her kicked out.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yep.
You want to
Okay,
talk?
so I just wanted to
Hey, Pink
address
Pony, I
something.
enjoyed getting you booted from the book signing. I really enjoyed
you
playing a
did
part in
that?
that.
Oh, the book
Yeah, I had
signing
a
that you
big
weren't
part.
at while
I had
you
a
were
big part
working.
in that getting you kicked out. It was fucking awesome to see. I loved it.
So you were
I
working
just
But
love
with
the
you
you
Man,
guys.
that's
don't
weird.
like
All right, I'm going to stop to be completely honest with you guys, though. Listen, I had some haters on YouTube back in the day that I didn't like. My husband couldn't stand because they were mean to me. They said things that weren't true about me. And in Ken's eyes, these creators are spreading lies about him because he is whipped. He believes Gypsy's lies. Him and Gypsy are one and the same. I don't know, but whatever it is, in his mind, he believes Gypsy is innocent. And he believes these people will just attack her for no reason and that she is this abuse victim that they will not leave alone, right? So if I was going somewhere and a creator that talked crap about me said she was going to come, probably my husband would be like, "Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there." I would probably be like, "Let him come." First off, I know I would. If I was Gypsy and some of the creators that talk crap about me said they were coming to my book signing, I'd be like, "I can't fucking wait. I can't wait." Because let me tell you, there were times I thought about driving to where is it, Minnesota? Where does she live, you guys? My long timies. There were times I contemplated it because I was so tired of this creator running her mouth. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, if it was me and somebody said they were coming to, and I'm not saying Pink Pony is a bad person. I'm just saying, like, looking at it from Ken's perspective, because he believes Gypsy is right. He believes Gypsy is a good person. He believes that she was abused. He believes all these little things, right? So he's thinking somebody that's been going after his baby mama is now showing up to somewhere where she's going to be. If it was me, I'd be like, let him, can't wait. But my husband would be like, I'll be there too. My husband probably wouldn't have them kicked out. He would probably drag them out. You know what I'm saying? By their hair. Like, we'd be like boxing them up, you know? So I can't say I blame him for, like, whatever. He couldn't be there allegedly. He was allegedly working. So he did his part to have her kicked out. So I could see that. She was also recording the book signing like she had intentions to cause a ruckus. That was Pink Pony. So I'm like looking at it from his perspective, like, these are people that, in his opinion, attack his woman, his baby mama. So if he finds out online that these people are going to go to where his baby mama is, like, I'm sure he would try to do something, right? Like, wouldn't your husband, like, if y'all found out the people that you don't like, and, like, anyways, let's continue.
Fact.
But you don't. Hold on.
Wait, hold
wait.
on. Let Pink Pony and Starlight, I'll let you talk. Pink Pony, you want to respond to? That's a very weird flex.
Well, hold on.
I'm
Let
not
me finish. I just
Okay.
love the fact that you paid for travel accommodation to get down there for the book signing, and then we got your ass kicked out. I just loved that, and then watching you just kick rocks.
love
It was
that.
hilarious.
Why?
That's
I loved
hilarious.
it.
Can I say something?
Really?
Just proving more and more how much of a douche you really are, Ken.
That's totally
Oh,
Yeah,
fine.
but
I mean,
what's
hey,
funny
Guys,
I
is
let
didn't pay
Pink
to
Pony
travel
respond
somewhere
to that,
to
please.
try and harass somebody and then get kicked out at the door. So
She didn't
that's on
harass
you.
anybody,
No,
number
she
one,
didn't
Ken.
harass
Come
Yeah.
on,
anyone.
buddy.
Well, she planned to. So
Okay, well, actually, Gypsy was harassing me via my TikTok about a week before the event. Number one.
I don't know
Number
about that, but
two, number two, let me finish. Number two, I find it interesting that you are such a good multitasker that you could simultaneously be at work and have me removed from
no,
a
I
book
said I got
signing.
off work,
So
but go ahead.
kudos to you. You just said that you were working and you didn't attend the
Oh,
book
I was
signing, and
working and
now
I had the book
suddenly you
signing, but
had
I
a
can still
part in
text,
that.
right? I can still text at work. Anyway, go ahead.
Are you going to let me finish, or are you going to keep
No, go
talking
ahead.
over
Go
me?
ahead. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason why I joined this panel is because there's a really interesting message from Fancy to Ken from years ago that was dumped from, I don't know, Fancy's files on Reddit, where Fancy is attempting to sabotage Nick with Ken's help. So I texted you that screenshot, Morbid. I would like Ken to address that. Fuck the book signing. Fuck the book signing.
Oh.
Address.
Sorry, there's going to be some cussing in here. There's going to be some straight, like, unprofessional stuff that's going to come up later. So just beware.
That.
Okay, so let's see if we could tackle it one at a time here. Let's get to the text. But
Yes,
why
Elizabeth.
do
I
you
believe that,
get
Elizabeth.
so much joy, Ken, out of
I just
kicking
find it
Pink
hilarious
Pony
that
out?
somebody traveled, paid for accommodations,
Do you
hotels to
know?
try and harass a book sign and then got booted at
Wait,
the door. I just find that
wait,
funny.
Ken, do you know the
Okay.
reason behind why it wasn't to harass Gypsy? We were there for DeeDee.
It was to honor DeeDee. Do you have a problem with that?
I just find it funny that you got booted at the door. Hilarious.
You
Okay,
find
but
it
do
funny.
you have a
All
problem
right,
with
well,
that?
that's cool. I mean,
I find it funny that
all
Lifetime's
the money
not
you
paying you
wasted is
enough
just
that you
music to my
still have to
ears.
work
I
a
just I
second
enjoy
fucking
it.
job. That's the funny
Ooh,
part.
cracking
The
up.
funny
ooh,
part is
crackling.
you having
Pink
to work
Pony,
multiple jobs.
Sure do.
your
Are
mic
you
is
knocking a man for working a
crackling.
job? Hilarious. But go ahead.
Look, Ken. All right. So you're the one that actually initiated the removal of Pink Pony because
Thank
she
you, Lily.
Oh,
wanted.
I definitely had a part in it. I definitely had a
Where
part in
were
it.
you?
And that was just, it was so scrumptious to
What was your
see
part in it?
watching her get kicked out and then have to go
It
stand
was
on the corner
scrumptious. Where
and
did you
film.
watch
It's
that, by the
fucking
way, Ken?
hilarious.
Be honest
Oh,
with
I
me,
watched
bro.
it later.
Ken,
Where
you
did you
weren't
watch
there.
that? Where did you watch that go down?
I watched it later. As I
Where?
just said,
On my fucking
on my
TikTok.
phone.
Wait, but you
On my
said you had a
phone.
part of it.
Hey,
You said I'm
Pink,
so
I think you're gonna have to come back because your mic is
Your
crackling
I
for
said
some
what
reason.
now?
You said you had a part of it in it. Now you said you
Yeah,
watched it
no,
later.
I had a conversation with people and I made sure that she got her ass kicked out of the door. So it was great. I enjoyed it.
So you're proud of that?
Fuck yeah, I'm proud of it.
It's a little slurry. Just saying.
She
I
was
don't know.
harmless. Did you think she was harmful to the event?
No, I'm just happy to see that somebody who paid for travel and accommodation to come down there and harass her book signing got booted.
It
in the door.
wasn't
I just really enjoyed
harassing.
that.
No one was
Well, you
there to
might have a different
harass.
you might have a
Dad, do you
different
have
term
proof
for
of
it,
this
but
Wait,
harassment?
that's
guys,
the term
one
I
at a
have for it.
time.
Bag?
And I just really enjoyed it. So I had
Okay,
my
so
fun that
you
day,
enjoyed it.
but that day's over.
Starlight, go.
Colby says, wait, Elle, was it Ken's idea to come on Gypsy's show last season to introduce himself, or was it production's? He said he reached out to production. He said he reached out to production to set the record straight on why he left. That's what he said. They went to his house in Dallas and filmed, like, I think in his kitchen, or maybe they rented a place to film. But he said he reached out due to it being put out there, Gypsy giving interviews saying that the reason he left was because he couldn't take the media and didn't want to be, in the public eye. He wanted to set the record straight that that was not why he left, and that he left to give Gypsy time to, get out of jail and or be herself and live a life without, having a boss or, like allegedly he wanted her to get out of prison and just have some time to figure out who she was without being in a relationship. But she jumped right from one man to the next with Ryan,
Go ahead.
I could care less.
It says a lot.
Well, I'm just stuck on the harassing thing because that is not what that was about whatsoever. You're turning it into that because
we beg to
Gypsy is
differ.
the
That's
ultimate
fine.
victim, right?
Agree to disagree.
Experience luxury in every drive with the Buick Envision.
Sorry, guys. See, I questioned with right, hubby. My hubby said, I mean, something has to be wrong with a man that will go sleep next to a woman that murked her own mother. So both Ron and Ken are clearly not normal. Yes. And I'm like, at first I thought that Ken was just like very naive and just believed her story. But sometimes I'm like, if you're around a person so long or you're friends with someone so long and they're a bad person, you can't like you can't be blind forever. You have to be okay with it. Like there's creators out there that are not good people. And when they have friends, most of the time, like they don't keep friends. But if they have like one or two people that stay with them for years when nobody else does, it's because they're just like them. You know what I'm saying? So it makes me wonder if Ken and Gypsy, they are like one and the same.
You wouldn't. I mean, I'm talking to a panel of haters right now. I don't expect you to see
That
my
is not
point.
true.
Like,
Or
but I'm
Kizzle.
telling you that I find it hilarious that if somebody traveled down there to cause drama and trouble at her
She
book signing
traveled down.
event and
Okay,
made
so
sure
I'm
that
gonna
she
I'm gonna
got
set you
kicked
straight
out
on
He
this,
was
Ken.
not
and
there
sent to
to
the
cause
corner, I
trouble.
find, I find
Unless we
hilarity
get
in
Pink
that.
Pony back up, but maybe I'm speaking out of terms here, but she didn't just travel down there for the hell of it. Okay, she went down there for a purpose to actually just
Justice for DeeDee. She was there to
record some of the
record.
stuff and document it, and that was about
Yeah.
it. There was no
I mean, you can phrase it however you want to phrase it, but I see it as harassment.
there
to
was
my
no
girlfriend,
plans for
How is
harassment
mother
it
of my
at all.
harassment?
child,
You got it
and
wrong,
I
buddy.
What
enjoyed
about how?
watching
Hold on, I
her
have a
get her
Explain to me how it's
refund
harassment.
handed to her
How?
face and sent packing. I really enjoyed it.
You
There's
sent her
nothing to take
packing.
that from.
Did they record when Gypsy and her friend drove by somebody's work? Did Lifetime film that?
That's not harassment, though, right? That's not harassment.
And he allegedly knows nothing about
Ken,
the
did you
talking
hear
about?
that or no?
What do you?
other stuff that Gypsy is doing that's like harassment. He knows nothing about allegedly. When they're like when Gypsy and her friend was riding by somebody's house and calling people's jobs. What about that? And he's like, I don't know anything about that. Yes, the bass is my hubby.
What are you talking about? You have an example?
He watches
When
some
Gypsy
Ken, you
and
are
her
smug tonight,
friend,
baby.
Ivory Rose grown.
You
hold
got
on,
some confidence,
hold
baby.
on. When Gypsy and her friend took a little ride past somebody's work, remember that?
I have
Did you
no
not?
idea what you're talking about because I was not a part of
Wow.
that.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
There's
Liar.
no
Hear
bullshit.
about it?
That's
Oh,
sad.
yeah.
If he really doesn't
Gypsy
know,
said something about it.
Ken's
if he
got
really
that
doesn't,
confidence, Judy.
Well, that tells you there that Gypsy doesn't tell him everything. Because let me tell you something. If me and my friend went and drove by my hater's house, I would probably tell my husband beforehand. I'm like, listen, me and Ashley, we're going to egg some houses tonight. And my husband would probably be like, throw one for me. No, I'm just kidding. If I didn't tell him before I left, I would absolutely tell him once I got home. Weeks wouldn't pass and him know nothing about this. So the fact that either Ken's lying and he does know about it, or he doesn't know about it, and Gypsy does not tell him everything.
I want
I'm
to
telling
give
you right
Pink
now,
Pony.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Whoa,
so
calm down, Ken.
what are you talking about? Tell me.
All right, Pink Pony, did you fix your
it's
microphone?
well documented on our end, Ken.
Yeah, and Bree even admitted to it on her live, so you can go on with that bullshit.
Pink Pony, did you fix your microphone? You're here.
How do I sound?
Ooh,
Sam.
terrible.
Scratchy.
Not good.
Yeah.
No.
But we love you.
Yeah, you're
I
great.
love
Do you
you.
have like
I love you
a
more.
Yeah, Pink, we love you so
a
much.
different device, like a laptop, computer, or something? I don't know if you're
Okay, give
using
me a sec.
Android. We need
Give me a
iPhone
sec.
or.
I'll be back.
All right, sounds good.
I'm getting back on track with.
That's a good theory. He knows, but because of her parole, yeah, like he can't say anything. That makes a lot of sense. Not the Disney princess costumes. Yeah.
But Ken, so you saw it differently than us, but can you give us an example of what exactly was harassment about it?
Ken?
That music.
Ken?
I don't know if
And
Ken heard
two,
that.
he
We have
does
Nelly Belly here as well.
drop out of the call
Hey,
at like
Nelly.
suspicious
Hey
times.
guys, how?
Like when they ask him questions like this, like he drops out at suspicious times. Where I'm like, is he like don't know what to say? So he's dropping out and acting like the phone dropped or what?
Are y'all?
You want to talk to Ken? Oh,
Oh,
Ken
Oh,
lost
I'm-
the connection. He'll be back. He's a
if he
man.
could, I
He'll
don't
be
know.
back.
Let
Yes.
me just say, I just want to say something because I didn't want to piss him off and I don't want to be, look, babies aren't induced for no reason. If you Google it, you don't have to trust me. Google it. Okay. It'll it says right there that when there are health concerns for the mother or baby, that's the number one reason. The 16th wasn't her. That's 2 weeks before the due date. Health concerns, premature water breaking, uterine infection.
That wasn't 2 weeks before her due date, though. She's saying the 16th was 2 days before her due date, which was when they had the scheduled date to induce. It was 6 days before her due date. So her saying it is probably just, I'm sure it was just a mistake on her end to say 2 weeks because Becca Scoops, I don't think she would purposely say, oh, it was 2 weeks when it was really 6 days, like on purpose. I think she just really got it mixed up. But the date they were going to induce was 6 days before the due date. And sometimes a doctor's reason could be as something as simple as I'm going out of town. So I don't want you to go in labor and there'll be a doctor on call that you're not familiar with. So we'll do it on this day because I go to town the next day. It can literally be something as like, 6 days they would potentially do it. I don't think they would do it any more than probably like 7 or 8 days. At least I know my doctor's office shut that down. But different offices do different things and they do them for reasons that, you might not make sense to you. And what they're going to do though, is they're going to do an ultrasound. They'll talk about if there's a want for a induction, they'll talk about it. They'll talk about why. And then, they'll do ultrasounds to make sure the baby is at a good weight and the baby is measuring good before they'll do it. Yes, that baby was a month early. But in this moment, they're just talking about the baby was scheduled to be born on January 22nd. they had planned an induction for January 16th. And some of the people on the panel saying that doesn't make sense. They're not going to schedule an induction that early, not 6 days in advance, but they will. Like I've seen it happen. 6 days they will. Now there's no way they would do it not when she had the baby, they're not going to do. But she went into labor, according to what is being said. She went into labor.
Amniotic fluid. The only reason you induce 2 weeks early is over a health concern. Okay.
Can you confirm that
No,
rumor
absolutely
of
not.
health concern for your baby?
I mean, that's a very generic approach. I mean, sometimes babies are born a little bit early. That's just the reality of the world that we live in.
It wasn't induced.
Yes,
Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. So we got Haiti and Becca. Go ahead first, and then Haiti.
Yeah, I just know this as a rule of thumb that in a normal pregnancy, when there are no health concerns, the doctor wants to keep the baby go full term. They do not want the baby to come early under any circumstances, because the first thing is there's going to be a problem with the lungs. Okay. Now, luckily that didn't happen with your daughter, even though she was born pretty early. That's kind of early. That's called preterm at 36 weeks. So no, a doctor would not induce 2 weeks before a due date. It just doesn't happen unless there's a reason. And Ken, that's her. I don't need to know why. I just wanted to set the record straight. Okay. That's all, because I just,
Ken,
that's all.
before
Baby's lungs are usually fully developed by 36 weeks. But still, yeah, they're not going to induce you at 36 weeks unless there's a medical issue. But she's getting the date wrong. She's saying 2 weeks. It was just 6 days. What the original plan was.
Haiti goes, Ken, do you have a response to that? Ken?
Jesus.
It's actually insane that I have to tell somebody who used to work as a nurse this, but actually sometimes babies are born a little bit earlier than their due date.
Yes, they are, but they're not induced. They're not induced early.
Our
They're
daughter.
not induced
Okay,
early.
well, you said that she was induced 2 weeks. Okay, the induction date was supposed to be less than 1 week before her original due date planned from the beginning. But these things are never finite. They're never solidified, and sometimes we'll see what happens. And our baby was born a little bit early, but nothing to the point of being sent to the NICU.
You said the 16th, again, on December, right?
The 16th of January was supposed to be her induction date, but she was born a little bit earlier.
Well, bear with me. Keep going. I'm looking something up just to be sure.
I want to ask any mother out there that's had a baby, if the doctor ever decided to induce you early for no reason.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, listen, sometimes cases are different than the norm, but the point is our baby was born perfectly healthy and
I'm
perfectly
happy.
happy.
So
Okay,
happy
perfect.
for that.
So I don't
Genuinely.
exactly know what you're arguing against here, but
I'm just arguing that it wasn't smooth. It wasn't for no
it
reason.
absolutely was a
It's
smooth
like saying
delivery. There
But
was
Ken,
I saw
pushed it
your
out to
video
15
where you
minutes, all
talked
that
about how she was.
Is my hubby still in here? Can he remember exactly how early it was that our doctor induced me for Eli? Because it was early. Yeah, 6 days is still considered. 39 weeks is considered full term. Yeah, 39 weeks is considered full term. So that baby would have been 39 weeks in a day. So they definitely could have scheduled for a 39-week delivery for sure. Becca's misunderstanding what's happening because the scheduled date was only 6 days early, not 2 weeks.
It's a C-section, and that all this. She wasn't.
Who,
She was
Becca's
natural
It could have
Gypsy
been
video?
a planned C-section if it was going to be induced. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just saying what I know of.
You know
my
who put out
professional
that misinformation, Ken? Bree put out that misinformation about the
until
C-section.
you know exactly what you're talking about. And the baby was born on December 28th, and she was 100% healthy. She got sent home with us the next day or 2 days later. And she's been an amazing baby ever since. She's been growing regularly. She's been weighing regularly. She's been gaining weight. Everything has been great. So
That's
there is
all great to
absolutely
hear.
no cause for concern here. There is no room for whatever you're trying to spin. I don't know what it is, but you know, we're lucky and we're happy and we're blessed that Aurora was born totally happy, totally healthy, and she's been growing and she's been doing amazing ever since. So
Okay,
sometimes babies are born a little bit earlier than their due date, and that happens. But the point
totally,
is, she
yeah.
was born with a full head of hair. She was born totally formed. She was totally healthy, and we couldn't be happier that that was the case. So there really is no reason to dilly dally in the this and that and the possibilities and the semantics and the questions, and it's like, if you want to do that, that's fine. But I'm telling you right now that I have literally no motive to lie, absolutely no motive to lie,
We're
that she
not
was a natural
questioning that.
birth. She was,
Yes.
and she's totally healthy, and she's been great. She's been a great baby. She'll turn 4 weeks on Saturday, and we couldn't be happier. And
Okay.
I don't understand, and that's all there is
Nina,
to say.
your camera's on. Turn it off, and then I'll bring.
So Nina's about to come in, and this is where it's going to get crazy. There's going to be a lot of yelling. It's going to be talking over people. And this question has come up twice in the chat. Is it the only way to do a DNA test before birth is through amniocentesis, which is really invasive? And someone else asked, how could they have done the DNA test while she's still pregnant? So a DNA test on a baby while pregnant can be done using a non-invasive prenatal test called NIPP, or an invasive prenatal test like amniocentesis or chronic villus sampling, CVS. The type of test performed depends on the timing of the pregnancy and the reason for the test. So, non-invasive prenatal test, a blood sample is taken from the mother and potential father. The fetal DNA is in the mother's blood and is compared to the DNA in the father's cheek swab. This test is 99.9% accurate and can be performed after 8 weeks of pregnancy. It is not available to women carrying twins. The invasive prenatal test is amniocentesis. A thin needle is used to extract amniotic fluid from the abdomen. The sample is compared to the DNA in the potential father's cheek swab. This test is usually performed between 15 to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Amniocentesis carries a slight risk of miscarriage or premature labor. So I'm sure they did the non-invasive prenatal test, the NIPP, because yeah, I think that's what they did, because she said it was non-invasive. All right, so you guys be prepared. And Nina's about to come up in this, and there's going to be some yelling and some screaming and some, I think, even foul language, maybe.
Bring you up because I don't know if your camera's on.
All right, can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead. Hey T.
Okay. So I think that there might have been confusion there because
Oh no, this is Haiti.
he said that the induction date was the 16th, and then I asked, well, why was the baby born on the 28th? He said the baby came early. So I think that
Wix, one platform, any website.
Welcome, Z Pushy. Welcome.
induced on the 28th, the baby came
No,
on
I
the
didn't.
28th,
I
and she
I'm never.
wasn't induced. Unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but that's how I understood it.
Haiti, I know that she wasn't induced. It's that when a regular pregnancy, and after this, let's not talk about it anymore. In a regular pregnancy, people don't get induced unless
Okay.
it's late or there's a health concern. No, she wasn't.
I want to say, I set like induction dates, like with my daughter. I want to say it was like a month in advance. With Eli, with Eli, we set it because I had my husband's work schedule, and we tried to schedule it like way early, and he was like, "We can't do it." Months. Like, I'm not saying I tried to get induced months early. I'm trying to say when I went into one of my doctor's appointments, I had my husband's schedule, and I tried to get it done like then. I tried to schedule it then, and he was like, "We'll look into it, but we can't do it no further than this." But anyway, so you can talk to your doctor about anything. You can be like, "Hey, can we schedule an induction so I don't go into labor? Like, I don't have a license. I won't have a way." Like, my husband It might be at work, and they will talk to you about that. They will, if you have a schedule, as long as everything goes well, they'll do the ultrasound. And if your baby's weighing a good weight and it's over like 38, 39 weeks, like they'll do that. Like, I don't think they'll do it any earlier than maybe 38 weeks. That's what mine stopped doing. Yeah, plenty of people have, like, I have friends that had dates to induce like weeks in advance, so I'm like, I'm confused by it. Like, I wish I had like a nurse, like a neonatal nurse or a labor and delivery nurse that could come on with me. But he can't give a reason why there was one. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe due to her microdeletion, maybe because he don't live with them. You would think they had a reason. You would think the doctor didn't just say, okay, well, let's go ahead and schedule a date for induction, which maybe the doctor did. Maybe the doctor was going to be leaving for some sort of vacation and was like, you're due on this date. I'm going to be gone that, like, so let's schedule you an induction. Maybe, oh, this is a good one. Maybe because Rod, Gypsy's daddy, he's gone like a month on, month off. So maybe she was like, hey, this is my dad's schedule. Is there any way, we can do it around this time? So he'll be there. Like, maybe her dad was going to be leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, my doctor scheduled to induce me early because he was leaving for vacation. Do you know how early it was? That's true too. Like, yeah. Elective induction at 39 weeks are pretty common. See, that's what I thought. I'm like, is it just doctor? There was somebody in the chat that's from Louisiana, and she was like, I guess it's just Louisiana because it happens all the time down here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yeah, it does. Like, are we the weird ones? I don't know.
No circumstance do they induce you at 36 weeks. And
That's
that's
Nina,
coming from a mother of 2 kids.
Well,
Well, that's not what he said, though.
it wasn't supposed to be. All right, dude, you really brought this fucking girl on, dude. I swear to God.
Wait, Ken. Wait, hold on,
circumstance.
guys. Hold on. I know.
I didn't know you had a vagina. Oh, and
First of all,
Okay, let me just say, I do not subscribe to men can't talk about these things because, like, my husband was there with me every step of the way. He might know more stuff than I know because I was like knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, can I not talk about a man? Can I not talk about things going on with men just because I'm not a man? Like, I don't like that.
well, I mean, if you were
Actually, I
too,
wouldn't be
I mean,
surprised.
obviously you're too fucking stupid to realize that she wasn't induced at
Your
36
mama.
weeks.
You and your
Ken,
mama.
Yeah,
That's
Ken,
you and
be
your
a
mama.
gentleman.
Mom,
Come
You
on,
and
bro.
your
I
mammy.
thought. So she was
You
supposed to
and
be
your
induced at
mammy.
38 weeks.
And
All right,
you've
guys,
always
calm
been
down.
a liar.
Calm down,
So
chick.
why would you come on
Calm
here
down.
telling the truth now? You're a liar.
Calm
We
down.
know
No,
that.
you're a fucking
Just like
liar, and
Cowboy
everything you
Bear,
posted
you
has
were
been
bent
lies.
over with
Yeah.
Cowboy Bear.
Yeah.
You came
Okay.
up here and
So,
lied.
Classic response.
Right?
all right, guys, hold
Yeah,
on one
that's what
second.
You
you
have
Ooh,
to let
do.
this
You
fucking
calm
lie.
down.
on your panel. This
You've
Let's
been
relax.
lying.
Let's
lunatic.
relax.
You've
She's
been
literally the
lying.
next
You're a
fancy,
liar.
first of all. Second of all, she would have been induced at 38 weeks if you can do your fucking math right, but you can't because you're fucking stupid. So she was born at 36 weeks, like I said, 2 weeks earlier than the induction date. So yeah, get your math
Let's
right,
be
girl.
respectful, Ken. Come on. No need to throw that
You're actually
jab.
telling me.
I don't have an issue with Morbid, don't have an issue with Nina, but you're coming on somebody else's panel. Like, if Ken would have come on your channel, somebody said in the chat, like, they don't blame Nina because, like, they got Nina fired or whatever. But, like, if I'm coming on somebody else's panel and you have gotten me fired and I'm frustrated with you, I'm still going to try to, like, be respectful of, like, I'm on somebody else's panel. I don't want to get their whole video demonetized because I'm, like, flipping out. You know what I'm saying? But it's wild because she came in full force because she is clearly mad at Ken. She came in full force. And then when he, like, gave it back to her, Morbid was like, come on, Ken, calm down. I'm like, they're both doing the same thing here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're both kind of like giving it to each other. But, like, and Nina was like yelling, screaming. He was calmly telling her to F off. Like, he was like very calmly, like, yeah, you can F off, you know? And I'm like, why is Morbid like telling him to calm down when, like, they're both like, that's what Nina says. I don't know much about that. Cloud in the chat, apparently you seem to know more about that. I did hear them talking about Nina was fired. I want to say Ken says he knows nothing about that, but I don't know.
Can you be respectful? I swear.
Yeah, but I don't I didn't know
both.
that you had a coochie because you're up here speaking to women about childbirth.
That's
Okay,
true.
Okay,
so
so
again,
you need to
are
act like
either
you got some sense.
Let Ken and Nina talk because I think
Act
Well,
like
we
you
gotta
got some sense. You're out
Okay,
here
so first of
acting
all,
like you're a
again,
woman.
like
Yes,
I
I know
said,
you
she's
act like a woman
okay. She keeps
sometimes,
raising
but
her
yes, you're
voice,
not
hold
so
one.
this is the kind of
on.
person that she
We don't
is.
want him to rage
Loudmouth,
quit.
lunatic, loser.
well,
So she
wait,
says
wait,
that
Ken,
baby
back
your
up.
baby would have
The
been induced at
loser's not going to
36
get you.
weeks.
Okay,
all
go
right, I'm
ahead.
talking to you right
Yeah,
now.
all I'm gonna
So
do
she
is
said that the
rag your
baby.
ass when I
Okay,
get off of
she
here.
keeps
Play with
talking. She
me.
keeps talking. All right. So, like I said, she said that the baby would induce it at 36 weeks. She wasn't induced at 36 weeks. She was born at 36 weeks. She would have been induced at 38 weeks.
So she was
Yeah.
But
induced
again, you
earlier.
can't critically think.
yeah.
Pitocin is inducing. Pitocin is inducing, but that's what we're talking
You
about.
don't
You
even
do
know what
not
you're
know.
talking.
Unfortunately, Nina is, as much as Nina keeps up with Gypsy, I would assume she probably would know this, but Gypsy went into labor. Gypsy went to the hospital in labor. She was 6 centimeters dilated and then was not progressing. So they gave her Pitocin because once you're 6 centimeters dilated, you're not going home. You're going to stay there. So to speak, and two, if her water had broken, especially if her water had broken, they're definitely going to want to push it along because once your water breaks, you run the risk of getting, getting an infection. So she went in. She went into labor. Went in. This is what Gypsy says, yes. And this is what we all have to base it off of, like 36 weeks, you go in and you're 6 centimeters dilated and you lay there for hours and hours and hours and hours. They're going to say, hey, let me give you Pitocin to speed it up. So you don't lay here in labor for 24 hours. Maybe 20 years ago, they didn't do that. That's why you got your parents saying, I was in labor for 36 hours with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, like these days, like they don't make you lay there that long. They literally, and I'm not saying I believe anything she says, but that's what they're all going off of. Like Nina is going off her going into labor and her saying she got Pitocin. Nina is going off that, saying she got Pitocin. Well, yeah, she got it because she was already in active labor, but it just wasn't progressing. She was 6 centimeters dilated. It wasn't progressing. And after that, guess what? You want to know what would have happened after that? If they would have gave her Pitocin and it would not have moved her any far along, they would have ended up doing a C-section. If hours after Pitocin did not make her dilate, she would have had a C-section. I had a friend that happened to. She went into labor, went in. She was like maybe 4. They gave her Pitocin to speed it up. Nothing happened. Like 10 hours later, they're like, you got to have a C-section. So, yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's just like, oh, yeah, exactly. So just because you have Pitocin, it does not mean like what like Nina's trying to say that it means necessarily. Like you can go in labor and end up getting Pitocin.
What you're speaking about.
I know
They don't
exactly
give
what I'm speaking about.
Pitocin
You
unless
are
they're inducing you.
All right.
Let me talk for a minute.
Calm down, everybody.
Here's what happened. Everyone calm down for a minute. Here's what I think happened, Ken. Okay. On December 28th, Gypsy went into spontaneous labor, no induction, correct?
At what weeks?
Southeastern Salvage Home Emporium is an exceptional shopping experience offering unique home furnishings.
On December 28th, Gypsy went into spontaneous labor. There was no Pitocin. There was no.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
She
that's
just
what I
went
thought you
in.
meant.
Okay. But what you said was that the doctor, the OBGYN, had a plan to induce on January 16th. When her due date was January 22nd, correct?
Correct.
And I want, and then we got 1,100 people in the chat, and we've got a lot of mothers. Any mother, can you tell me if you were induced early for no reason? That you had a great pregnancy, and the doctor said, you know what? We're going to induce you 4 days before your due date. Please.
Yes. So my husband would be home longer to be with me. Yes. Sean, are you in here? Because I don't know if I was like 38 weeks or maybe even. Yes, it happened. And some places, I guess somebody said in Georgia, they're a lot more strict in it, but in Louisiana, I guess they're not. Because yes, I was a mother with 2 other kids at the time. My husband, Sean, do you remember, okay, when Eli was born, how we got a date set to have him induced so you would be home longer? How many weeks I was? I don't know why I can't. Was I 38 weeks or 39 weeks? I don't think I was any. Well, I know I wasn't 37 because we tried to get 37. No, well, we tried for 37 because that was going to be like 2 days after you come home. And he was like, we're not going to do it at 37 because was it 36 or 37 that they wanted it to be over? Okay, 38. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. He wanted to make sure he did it after 37 weeks. So I think I was 38. So I was 2 weeks early that we just did so my husband would be there with us. And I'm sure insurance plays a role. There's so many factors here. The doctors, you got some doctors that'll do whatever, literally. So to say that it just doesn't happen is not accurate. To say that it just, oh, no, it does not happen. Like, there's so many factors at play here. Literally, the person themselves. Yeah, I had my son at 36 weeks, which I had preeclampsia, so I had to have him. I also had one at 32 weeks. Yes, Eli, we did Eli at 38 weeks, so you could be home the whole time, the whole 2, yeah. All right, let's continue listening.
Someone put ones in the chat if that happened.
My daughter was born at 36
because I guarantee you
weeks.
that has happened to no one.
My
for no
daughter was
reason.
induced at 36. I was induced with
Ken,
my
do you
daughter
have
at
an
36 weeks
I mean,
because of my blood pressure.
I don't know what the
at the
question
time.
is. I'm just telling you that she was born at 36 weeks, almost 37, and she was totally healthy.
And usually there's health concerns for a planned induction. And usually if someone has a baby, especially their first baby, 4 weeks early, yeah, that's serious. It doesn't mean that the baby's going to have health issues. It just means that.
I know.
And so I was just
Our doctors don't care down here. They're like, we got to get this baby out of you. Mardi Gras next week. You know what I'm saying?
this whole thing started and got out of control because I was just, when I heard that the baby was going to be induced, I'm like, no, that doesn't happen unless there's some kind of health concern. You don't induce.
No, I
early.
mean, well, the
You never
original,
do
like
that.
the original due date, which is planned from the beginning of pregnancy, isn't always finite. Sometimes there's room,
Hold
there's
on,
room.
They
Ken.
pretty much know that.
Ken.
yeah, but
they
that's
can
a
have
lot
the
of room for
ultrasound. They
error.
know what that
It's
Hold on.
not.
Here's
It's listen.
Can I
I
just
don't. I
say
don't
something?
exactly know what you guys are arguing about exactly, or
Hold on,
what kind
Ken.
of
Can
point
I
you're
tell
trying
you?
to make. But the
Listen,
point that
Ken.
I'm trying to, what I'm trying to tell you is that yes, she was born a little bit early, but she was perfectly healthy, and she was sent home with us
Right,
the
but
day
can
after.
Okay,
you confirm?
go ahead, Starlight.
Can you confirm that you said that before she had a spontaneous birth, she had a scheduled induction 2 weeks before her real due date?
No, that's incorrect. 2 weeks before her
That's like 4
original.
days.
No,
Starlight,
it's 6
or 5
days.
4
days.
days.
6
Sorry, 4
days.
days. My bad. 4 days.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on takeout every done.
Goodness, YouTube is tearing it up with these ads. I bet Sir Morbid doesn't even know he's got this many ads in the video.
However many days. She had a scheduled induction.
Yeah,
Meaning
does
they
she have
didn't
a
want her to go
planned
into
induction
spontaneous
for
labor. They,
January
like I
something?
said, like they didn't want her to go into spontaneous labor, Ken. They wanted to induce the labor. That's weird, Ken. That's just not.
No,
that
it's
doesn't
not.
just
It's
happen.
really
For a
not.
first
I mean,
pregnancy,
the doctor explained it to us
for a
thoroughly, and that's
normal
totally fine.
for a normal first pregnancy, that is, I've never heard of that, to be quite honest.
All right,
Well, what do you want me to
But
tell you?
anyhow, I have
I mean,
another question if
That's
you want to
all.
change
That's
the
all.
subject.
we will move on because
I have
we
another question.
kind of
It's not without that. So, can you explain the hacker situation? I mean, we heard the
Yeah, I'm pretty sure celebrities literally schedule their dates probably the moment they find out they're pregnant. All right, listen, we got to make sure this baby's born on this date. Like every one of my kids has been, well, I went into labor with Kennedy. I went into labor, well, never mind. I was going to say every one of mine's been induced, but that's a lie. Went into labor with Kennedy, went into labor with Dakota, was induced with Christian, was induced with Eli, was induced with Caden, and was induced with Paris. I was induced with 4 out of my 6 kids. Okay, send me an email, Trisha. Is it Trisha? Send me an email. Yeah, and my thing is like to say it just doesn't happen. Like I am very careful to be like to never say something never happens because like I don't know. Like I can only speak from my personal experience and what I know. Colby, I'm tired right now. I was tired yesterday. I'll be tired tomorrow. Pregnant 7 times. I have 6 kids.
Story, but it's a little.
Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of new people in here, so subscribe.
Weird with the timeline that y'all were battling this hacker in the hospital.
Okay, so Gypsy fell for a email scam
While
kinda
she was
thing.
in labor? While she
No,
was in labor?
this was prior to that. This was days prior, and
Days?
yes, days prior, and I can't tell you the exact day the hacker took control of her account, but it did happen where she had released the login information to an email scam, basically.
What is the
And
login information?
oh, it's you know, morbid
All
piece
right,
of
go
shit,
ahead.
123
Tell us.
exclamation mark. No, so I have no idea, but so her information got released and this hacker took control of her account, and luckily we got it back. But yeah, I mean that was a very real situation. I know there's a lot of people that think that like this was some kind of planned circus, which I don't understand the mentality behind that, but we got the account back and it's now in her name and under her control. So I mean we're lucky that we figured that out. But yeah, I mean it was an unfortunate situation that lasted like a day or two, but we got it under control.
And 2, like my thing is like he said days before. And they're like, days? Yeah, because it takes what happened was she got the email days before they hacked her. She got an email saying, hey, this is from TikTok Verification Center. We need you to fill out this information so we can verify your account or whatever. She believed it was TikTok. She did it and she sent it in. And then the hacker went to working on hacking her account, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was on my phone, you know, up until I was probably 10 centimeters dilated. I don't know. Babe, I was on my phone a lot, right? So that's not like ridiculous to me. You know, like that she would be on like now, if she was on it like during labor and right after she had a baby, like worried about the hacker, that's ridiculous. Like pay attention to your baby.
Okay.
Can
Thank you,
you
Brady.
maybe can he answer the question Pink Pony had about some screenshot that was sent to you?
Pink Pony, did you fix your mic?
She said she sent it though. Just
I mean, I have the screenshot.
It should
I
be
guess.
good. Am I
Ken,
good?
you want to look at it?
I can't look at it right now. I'm in the
well,
car.
we can read it to him.
What are you driving and shit?
So what are you asking me to look over a screenshot from me and Fancy that of a conversation that we had from like 5 years ago?
About Nick.
2019.
Something
Okay,
to do with Nick.
6 years ago.
All right,
Right,
let me show
but
it to you. And Pink Pony, I don't know if you're there and your mic's good, but
Can you hear me?
yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Much better.
So what do you want to ask him about this?
So I'm curious about if you scroll down just a little bit, that message from Fancy. It's June 17th, 2019 at 3:13 in the morning. Just thought I'd let you know we now have the complete inside story on Nick, and we intend to make sure that guy never gets in an appeal or sees the light of day. Thank God Gypsy escaped that sociopath. Hope you are well. So I'm real curious what this conspiracy against Nick was. Is that about the text from Dawn? And I would hope that maybe Ken could give us a shred of honesty during this live and expose Fancy for whatever she's been doing to try and conspire against Nick Godejohn.
Sounds fair enough to me, Ken. Go ahead. Ken,
He dropped.
you're muted. Go ahead, Ken. Ken. Hear you, but you did.
I'm gonna look this.
Ken, are you there?
Crickets. No Ken.
Maybe he like lost reception or something.
Yeah, something there.
Betray? My God.
Something.
We'll get him back here. Ken, are you there or not? If not, disconnect, come back in.
If not, say no. No, I'm kidding.
Kenny?
Kenny boy.
Say, Kenny boy.
Mom, Dad, we have something to tell you.
Yeah, but when
He'll come back.
Or Kizzle.
I bet Christy's texting his phone, telling him to get down.
Or Gypsy.
Oh, he'll be back. He left.
Oh, that was scrumptious.
He probably lost connection or something.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I think he'll come back. I
And
hope.
then we have to get Nelly Belly to ask a question as well, and so on and so forth. Where's Nina? Nina left. Okay.
I don't know,
She said
but
in the chat, she said give him time to rehearse.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Well, I was just saying that I didn't want him to rage quit, and I knew he probably
That's what I was
would.
scared of happening too. Yeah.
Ken, you're not a rage quitter. Come on, man. Fancy
You're
does
not
that.
Kitty Joy. Come on.
You're here to answer all the questions.
No, I don't
clearly.
think
And
I don't
here-
think a doctor will induce 4 weeks early unless you have complications. We were talking about 6 days early because that's where the confusion came in. She had the baby 4 weeks early, and everybody kept harping on like her being induced, her being induced, her being induced. And Nina was like, she had Pitocin. Like, you don't get Pitocin unless you're induced. You do get Pitocin if you go into labor and you don't progress, but you're too far to be sent home. They will give you Pitocin. So what we were talking about was not, doctor's not going to induce 4 weeks early unless there are complications, but they absolutely will induce 6 days early, which is what the plan was initially. Gypsy went into labor from what's being said. Sorry, guys. I was out trying to look something up. Gypsy's account was hacked at 1:30 a.m. on the 26th. She went into labor at 1:30 a.m. on the 28th. The confusion stems from that. I'm a friend. Because I mean, more than likely, the email, like when the time she got the email and she responded, it took them a little bit of time to get into the account. I mean, maybe not. I'm not a hacker. I don't know how quick it is. But when he said like days earlier, they were like days, and I'm like, well, that would make sense because they had to send the email. She had to respond to the email, and then they had to work on getting it in her account, and then start doing live streams and posting weird stuff.
Here he is.
Oh, there you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Hey,
Yeah.
Ken, did you want to
Sorry.
respond to Pink Pony? Did you hear her?
What was the question?
Pink Pony?
So we're looking at this screenshot that was dumped from Fancy's,
Okay.
files or whatever on
I
it was
actually
dumped on
am the one
Reddit.
that sent this screenshot in, but yeah.
What's that?
I'm actually the one that released this screenshot, but yeah, go ahead.
They did. They induced one of ours at 36 weeks, but that's because I have preeclampsia, babe.
So your email is goodwivesdish@gmail.com. That's you.
No, but I'm the one that posted this conversation.
So you have this entire Google Drive.
Definitely health issues, babe.
I don't know about the Google Drive, but the conversation between me and Fancy, I believe so. I do.
All right.
So
She
you're the one
released it
that-
too, so.
Okay, I'm just curious if you can maybe like shed some light on this because this is like a current topic and I feel it's really important and maybe you can, do some justice for Nick and expose Fancy in this situation. But her message to you, June 17th, 2019 at 3:13 in the morning, she said, "Just thought I'd let you know we now have the complete inside story on Nick, and we intend to make sure that guy never gets an appeal or sees the light of day. Thank
Jesus
God
fucking
Gypsy
Christ,
escaped
dude.
that
Fucking
sociopath."
shit keeps fucking.
What was that, Ken?
I think he's having cell
You
phone
okay,
issues.
buddy?
Oh, bless the Lord. He didn't do
His-
nothing.
his StreamYard keeps fucking up.
All right. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yes, and I honestly, I thought that as well. I thought she had preeclampsia as well because it made sense. Like she's having the baby early. She had a blue wristband on, and if you look up like wristbands in Louisiana, like the American Health Association, like tells you what they mean. Like yellow is like at risk for falling, blue is preeclampsia. So I was like, oh, but that would make sense that she developed preeclampsia and she had that baby. That would make perfect sense to me.
You have to repeat yourself there, Pony.
Well, I got cotton
Yeah.
mouth at this point.
Sticking point. Ken will be back. He's still here, but he's on mute.
So let's discuss then. Well, in the meantime, before he comes back, I want to hear from the panel. What do you guys think about this text?
Thank
I
you.
don't really know.
Fancy's a piece of shit.
True that.
Yeah.
I think it was the whole thing was the setup of when
I
Fancy.
I haven't
Thanks,
gone through the
Sally.
whole thing, so I couldn't even really
Yeah,
respond.
I noticed
have
that.
to sit down and look at it.
Oh, it's from 2019. I was going to ask what year it's from.
Yeah, so I'm just curious because she's saying she now has the complete inside story. Is that in reference to this whole Dawn Boker setup situation?
That I don't know.
I assume this is before she's like switched sides.
Yeah, this
it's
was when she was still
She
posing
was
as
still
a PR
semi-working for
person.
the Blanchard. She was
Yeah, that
trying
makes more
to stay in
sense.
their good graces, and Ken
Yeah.
was actually the one that really did not like Fancy a lot. So
Oh,
I think
Becca,
she-
have you read through these messages between
Yes.
Ken and Fancy?
Yes, all of them. Yeah.
Becca's read it all
Oh, it's
I've
so
seen-
enlightening.
for sure.
I've seen some, but I didn't know more existed. Now I want to see all of them.
Yeah, there's a whole Google Doc.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Nina.
Hey,
Hey,
but they're
Nina.
Sorry,
both.
guys. I'm gonna have to make some
Hey,
room.
y'all.
Oh,
But they're
here he
both.
is.
My shit keeps
Hey.
disconnecting.
Kayla said, how did he get in the chat? So I've watched Sir Morbid several times and can be in the chat. Like they're up there talking about his life, him and Gypsy and Christy and everybody. Sean. So like he's been up there several times. This is not the first time that he's been up on their panel. But yeah, he'll jump in the chat and he'll be like, boop, 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 like talking. So this is like probably maybe the third time that he's popped up because he's in the chat. And Sir Morbid's like, hey, if you're here, come on. And he does. So he's not afraid to jump up in there and talk, you know?
Ken.
it's
All right,
fine.
that's not a
Kenny
problem.
boy.
All right. Well, Pink Pony, did you hear a question, or we need to go
Listen,
back?
all right, go ahead.
It's right there on the screen. Go ahead, Pink.
So I'm just curious, Ken, if you can shed light on what Fancy exactly was doing to
I have
quote,
no
make
idea.
sure.
You're asking me to look back on a 6-year-old conversation and tell you what Fancy was doing. I have no idea. I'll tell you this, though. I don't like Fancy. I've never liked Fancy, and I disapprove of anything that she says and does. She's a maniac and insufferable lunatic who has been consumed by this entire story, and I have nothing else to say beyond that.
So you have no recollection of this, and you have no idea about any type of conspiring that she was doing against Nick while like during this
No,
time.
I
Am
couldn't
I
tell you.
crazy? Y'all, hold on. Let's back that up. This is a woman who at the time was like a spokesperson for the Blanchards who dug into this case. I think it hurt, like reading that, just thought I'd let you know, we now have the complete inside story on Nick. And we intend to make sure that guy never gets an appeal or sees the light of day. I think she's talking to Gypsy and Christy and hearing about how Nick had desires to kill, how Nick had, different personalities, was this vampire, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think she really was talking to them and got, this horrible version of Nick, like this complete crazy psycho autistic boy that just was dying to kill somebody, and I think that's what she's telling him, like, hey, just let you know, we got the complete story. He's disgusting. We're gonna make sure he never gets an appeal or sees the light of day. Like, I don't see that as, like, conspiring to do anything. I think am I crazy here? Okay, a girlfriend of Nick's reached out to Fancy. So I think Fancy was just, like, thinking she got, like, all this dirt on him that made him out to be this, like, horrific person. Oh, I do agree with that. Um, so I don't like, I'm not really seeing this as conspiring, but is that just me? Maybe I don't keep up with enough. I don't know. Like, y'all let me know if I'm like missing something because I'm like, well, she was literally like, thank you. Thank you. I'll check it right after we get off. Thank you. So I'm just like, I don't really see this as like her saying like, oh, like I'm gonna set him up. Or Lauren says she was definitely trying to set him up. I'm thinking she was fed a bunch of stuff to make this to make her really believe that this guy was like this horrific person. Oh, they sent a person in to set Nick up. All right, let's continue. I don't know enough about this.
And expose Fancy in this situation, but her message to you,
Horrible.
June 17th, 2019 at 3:13 in the morning, she said, "Just thought I'd let you know we now have the complete inside story on Nick, and we intend to make sure that guy never gets an appeal or sees the light of day. Thank
Jesus
God
fucking
Gypsy
Christ, dude.
escaped
This
that
fucking
sociopath."
shit keeps fucking.
What was that, Ken?
I think he's having cell
You
phone
okay,
issues.
buddy?
His StreamYard keeps fucking up.
That was a big
All right,
jump,
he'll
wasn't
be
it?
back.
A big leap.
You're
I
gonna
do
have to
think the Brie
repeat
in the chat
yourself
is
there,
Gypsy's friend,
Tony.
right? Am I
Well, I
right?
got cotton mouth at this point.
Sticking point. Ken will be
Honestly, like my biggest issue is like your mouth. Stop.
back.
I know we're all adults here, but jeez.
He's still here, but he's on mute.
So let's discuss then. While in the meantime, before he comes back, I want to hear from the panel. What do you guys think about this text?
I don't really know.
Fancy's a piece of shit.
True that.
Yeah.
I think it was the whole thing was the setup of when Fancy.
I haven't gone through the whole thing, so I couldn't even.
I haven't read these either, so I don't know.
Sit down and look at it.
Oh, it's from 2019. I was going to ask what year it's from.
Yeah, so I'm just curious because she's saying she now has the complete inside story. Is that in reference to this whole Dawn Boker setup situation?
That I don't know.
I assume this is before she's like switched sides.
Yes.
Yeah,
this
this
was
was when
right.
she was still
She
posing
was
as
still
a PR
semi working for
person.
the Blanchard. She was
Yeah, that
trying
makes more
to stay in
sense.
their good graces. And Ken was actually the one that really did not like Fancy a lot. So I think
Becca,
she-
have you read through these messages between
Yes.
Ken and Fancy?
Yes, all of them. Yes.
Oh, it's
I've
so
seen-
enlightening.
Yeah.
I've seen some, but I didn't know more existed. Now I want to see all of them.
Yeah, there's a whole Google Doc.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Nina.
Hey,
Nina.
but they're
Sorry,
both.
guys. I'm gonna have to make some
Hey,
room.
y'all.
Oh,
But they're
here
both.
he is.
My shit keeps
Thank you so much, Kayla. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
disconnecting.
Ken.
No, it's
All right,
fine.
that's not a
Kenny
problem.
boy.
All right. Well, Pink Pony, did you hear a question, or we need to go
Listen,
back?
all right, go ahead.
It's right there on the screen. Go ahead, Pink.
So I'm just curious, Ken, if you can shed light on what Fancy exactly was doing to
I have
quote,
no
make
idea.
sure.
You're asking me to look back on a 6-year-old conversation and tell you what Fancy was doing. I have no idea. I'll tell you this, though. I don't like Fancy. I've never liked Fancy, and I disapprove of anything that she says and does. She's a maniac and insufferable lunatic who has been consumed by this entire story, and I have nothing else to say beyond that.
Did we already listen to that?
So you have no recollection of this, and you have no idea about any type of conspiring that she was doing against Nick while like during this
No,
time?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It's a
right.
6-year-old conversation. I have no idea.
Can I say something? Let me tell
Can
you,
I say
as a
something?
creator, there was a time to where like I was being attacked by this other creator and it got crazy. And I would save every like like text messages. People would send me screenshots of lives where, her chat was talking about me or she was talking about me. And I saved it and I held on to it for a while. And a while back, I was like going through them because my phone was full and I needed to get rid of a bunch of stuff. And I'm like reading like messages, but like between me and my mods that I'm like, I don't remember saying that. There was even some that I found where I was like, I don't even remember being in a group with her. Like this is like after like I read some more, I was like, oh, that's right. It's like, and this was literally like 4 years ago. So if somebody threw a text up on the screen and be like, "Tell me about it," I might would be like, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I wouldn't know. And there's no telling how many conversations he may have had with her because she was like the spokesperson for Gypsy and the family. So I mean, maybe that might would have been something that he might would have remembered. Maybe not. Maybe he talked to her more, and it just didn't. I agree. Yes.
Something. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You know, y'all
Is this
relationship
Nelly?
puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
it's me. I'm really puzzled by the relationship between.
Shoot. Listen, YouTube be getting us with these. I have to go in and manually remove a bunch of ads.
And Gypsy. Kent seems to not be in the loop of anything that they do, and I mean, if it,
Unless
I can
he's
only
playing
speak.
dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak from my own
Playing
personal
dumb? You're
experience
asking me
in
to like
relationships.
give you insight on a 6-year-old text conversation? You think that because I
No,
don't
I
remember everything, I'm
wasn't
playing
talking
dumb?
about
No,
that.
put it up. No, he's
Well,
not playing.
Ken, not.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
well,
you don't
my
like Nina, Ken.
Uh-oh.
You
I think the feeling is mutual between them.
I
you're
think
really
that Nina is
upset.
like a second. She's like a second to Fancy.
Trisha, I just checked my email. I don't have an email, but yeah, I will say anyone on the chat, even if you don't like somebody, I want everybody to, if you have a question or whatever, just be respectful. Let's not attack people. Nick's father sent the emails to Morbid. Oh wow. Yeah, if you ever watch one of my videos and there's a ton of ads, email me. Email me, let me know, and I will go in and remove them because I have to. Today, I went through the last two of my videos that I did yesterday and had to remove a ton. Even if you don't agree with somebody, you don't like somebody, if you have questions, let's just all be respectful. Oh, she sent it on IG. Okay. Anybody can be here. Let's just be respectful.
Somebody who's been entirely consumed by the Gypsy Rose, case that Gypsy Rose kind of owns and controls you and like forces your hand to everything
I'm
you say and
consumed.
do.
I didn't call
I
my
mean,
job. No, wait.
okay,
Let's clear
nobody
something
called your
up.
fucking
No,
job.
listen. Yes. And Bree admitted to it. Your girlfriend has harassed me, or your baby mama, your hoe, whatever you want to call
got
her.
fired from your job because you're an
Let
online
them
lunatic.
work it.
Okay, Bree, you're in the chat. I do have a question. Did y'all call Nina's job? Like, what's up with that? Can you answer that? I'm curious about that.
No. Listen, Ken.
That's
This
why you
would
got
have
fired from
never
your fucking job.
happened. I would have never. I didn't reach out to Gypsy. I'm not the one sitting on.
Bree says she didn't admit to anything. I'll give my 2 cents on that really quickly. Is I don't believe in going real life on either side. Like I've been affected by people going real life on me, and it sucks. It sucks. Like I mean, I got arrested, and I'm pretty sure it's because somebody called the cops on me. And I had a bag that it once had chalk in it. So you know what? Y'all want to know what the dumb cops around here thought it was? Cocaine. I spent the night in jail. People have ran my background. Okay, did a background check, pulled my finances, and then lied and said that I wasn't paying my bills and my car was about to be repossessed. Guess what? My car we sold it like 2 years later. Okay, like I sued the police department for the arrest, and I got a settlement. But go in real life, I'm like, that is too much. Like, don't go real life. Here's the thing: if someone goes real life on this person, and that person goes real life back, if you go real life on somebody, don't be shocked if they go real life back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Nina very well. I've watched her a couple of times. But I don't believe in it. I don't believe in going real life. People have kids. And I just don't believe in it. It's affected me. I mean, I did not get her fired, and I have all the proof. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you.
No.
I just wanted to ask you, since you were here, and like I've heard it before, and then they said it last night, so I just wanted to ask you.
Listen, you're going to listen to me.
Obsessive bully who
Okay.
nobody wants to have them work for them. So now you do what every other content creator does, and you shit out fake videos with false rumors and bullshit to get.
Wait, how do you know that,
because
Ken,
that
that
is your
Nina
job
was a
now.
shitty employee and all that?
Because that's all that you do now. You post fake news and fake content to get views and clicks for views and money.
But my stuff has
because
actually
you have,
been proven.
No,
So
none of your shit is proven. It's
the
all
fact that
false
stuff
and
has
it's
checked
all
out.
bullshit.
Oh, okay.
No, listen. The reality is you have nothing else. You have
You
nothing
sound really
else.
angry,
You have a
Ken.
miserable
Why are you big mad,
existence.
Kenyatta?
And no.
Kenyatta.
Okay, yeah. That's
Kenyatta.
a
What are
cute
you
little
upset
card to
about?
play because I'm shutting you the fuck down right now, and you know that I'm right.
Kenyatta,
Because
what are
the
you so
reality
upset
is
about,
you have
Kenyatta?
no life outside of Gypsy.
Kenyatta, why are
And
you
that
so
your
upset?
entire existence is built on
Kenyatta,
Gypsy.
why are you so
And you have
upset?
to post false
Kenyatta.
bullshit to get views and clicks
Oh,
to
okay.
only make you money
Okay.
because you have no other income otherwise.
They
You
post
live with your
about
mother,
me
and
more.
you have
I don't
nothing
live
going
with
on
my
Whoa,
in your
mom.
life.
Ken,
You
let's
have
not
nothing going
throw
on
out
in your life.
accusations
that's
that
fine.
are not
That's
true.
just the reality here that I'm speaking.
She
I'm
doesn't
taking
live with her
facts
mother.
here.
Free Tax USA, the sidekick you need for advanced tax.
Trying to make sure I play these. I do let the ads play through for a few seconds, so he gets the revenue on that. Also, this is not the full video, you guys. I did not even go in until like 2 hours into it. Okay, so there's a whole 2 hours before this that you gotta watch.
No, you have
like,
You have
no
zero
you got a lot of
other
nerve.
purpose for me
But
in
the
your life
fact that
other than
you're
to
a drug
spread
addict,
false
you
bullshit
had a
and
baby by a
rumors on
murderer, and you
Gypsy
want to talk shit about
You know,
someone? You had a
listen,
baby by a
I'm not
murderer.
talking
Are you
shit. I'm talking facts
You
here,
got a
lady.
lot of
You know,
nerves.
you
Just the
have
fact that you
nothing
had a
else
baby
but
by
to
a
do but
murderer
to
does
post
not
fake
qualify you to even speak
bullshit
to me.
on somebody who you've never met,
You
and that's a
sound
sad,
dumb.
miserable existence. And I pity you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
pity you.
Okay.
I
But
really
you're the
hope that
one.
you find
That just got so tacky. I don't know. Like, I'm embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whatever.
something in your
just,
life.
just for me. Like, some people may be all about this and may think that it's like, and I'm enjoying listening to it, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, are we adults? Are we adults? Are we like 12 years old doing this? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's reminded me of. Like I said, I have 6 children. It's like when I hear my 7-year-old like tease her brother, I'm like, that's what it reminds me of.
that
Oh,
gives
okay.
you purpose
Okay.
and meaning, because otherwise it's a
Okay.
sad life for
Okay.
you. So good luck,
Purpose,
lady.
like the
Good
way
luck.
Gypsy killed her mother. Is that the type
Right.
of
Okay.
purpose
So
you're
listen,
talking about?
everything that you
The
posted
fact that
about
Gypsy
Gypsy
used
in
a
the last
man
like
that
3
was
All right.
collecting permanent
Okay. How about
disability.
this?
Is
Let's
that
see if
what
we
you're talking about?
let's see
and
if we can go
anybody who
You're
follows you
disgusting.
or
You're the
listens
scum
to your
of the earth.
one
videos
at a
Just like your
time.
hoe.
just as insane as you
You're
are.
the
So I feel
scum
bad
of
for
the
all
earth.
of them.
You
Also,
are
you
the
delete
scum
you
of the
delete
earth.
comments, you
You
delete
are
you
the
block
scum
people
of the
who
Wait,
earth.
fight
hold
your
on, Ken.
You
bullshit
are the
narrative.
Gypsy
scum of
Rose
the
doesn't
earth.
delete comments. Gypsy doesn't delete
Of
comments.
Yes.
course. Yeah, we all delete comments. Honestly,
Yes.
I'll
Like
say
this.
I don't delete many comments. I rarely delete comments. I have mods that'll delete like through live streams. We usually give everybody like hey, calm down. We usually give, but if they're just being like straight up, like, yeah, we'll delete comments. I don't go back. Like, I don't get a lot of negative comments, to be quite honest. And I don't get to read my comments as often as I should. But I mean, in my 6 years on here, I bet you I've deleted 20 comments in my 6 years doing this. Like, from people watching my stuff and commenting. And usually in the beginning, it was people saying, "Oh, you sound like a redneck. Did you even finish high school?" Like, people like attacking me over my accent, you know? So yeah. And okay, I'm curious about this. says Bree at Boss Lady. I doxed her mom. Okay, so there's talk that you doxed Nina's mom. Well, no, she doxed my mother, who owns an in-home daycare. There's also multiple people that showed up to my mom's because of Nina. Oh my goodness, this is wild. This is wild.
Such an
Come on,
oxymoron.
Ken.
They're the
Let's
ones
play on the same.
upset
play
Nina,
the
because
do you
same.
I
delete
don't sit
comments?
on
Yes or no?
lives for days
Nina, do
talking.
you delete comments?
Come
Yes
on
or
Okay,
no?
now.
so
curious.
Nina,
I
do
can
you?
do what I want to do on
She
my
could do
page.
whatever she
Who are
deletes
you?
comments. So
Exactly. You try
so
to
does
push a
Gypsy
narrative of
delete comments or
bullshit
not?
at any
Oh,
means
okay.
necessary, even if that means it's not the truth. That is your entire existence.
Oh,
You just
okay.
want the
But
money.
how,
You just want the clicks.
even
You
though it's
just
not
want
the
the
truth,
views.
but the things I've
You
said have
are a
checked out.
sad
So how are you
person.
saying the stuff that checked out are lies? Like that doesn't even make any sense.
Listen,
You
all I
sound
tell is the
dumb.
truth, lady. You tell bullshit
Oh,
for
okay.
views.
Okay.
Okay.
That's kind of
You know, like
untrue,
that we
Ken.
broke
Yeah.
up, like
Like
that I
he's a
lived with her
liar,
and her
though. We know
parents,
that
like
about
all
him.
that bullshit that you spread.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Just like
Anybody
Cowboy
who
Bear,
watches your
Kenyatta.
content is just as much
Okay.
stupid as you are. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
go
Okay,
find your
play
boyfriend and
the already
cry.
debunked cowboy card. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
No.
Is that all you have? Do you
Oh,
have
you're
anything else, Nina?
lying.
Do you have anything
You're
else?
lying.
Nothing else,
You're
huh? That's what I
lying.
thought. You're such a
Oh, you
loser as I
must have
thought
not
you
had
were.
some dick in some time.
Oh,
You
I'm sorry. I don't think I heard that when I was listening last night.
sound really
Ken, do you
Anything
really
else?
hate Nina? That
No, I'm gonna say this. I think there's levels of people. You know what I'm saying? There's just levels of people, and I am just a level where I'm like, that's not what I would do. That's not what I would say. Like, you have to get me really frustrated, and I have a lot of patience, but you have to get me really frustrated to start getting nasty with someone. And I don't know if I would do it on somebody else's panel just because of how, um, like, you could their whole life could be demonetized over me, like, getting up there. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, yeah. I just wouldn't behave this way. Like, if I was gonna have a conversation with someone that I disagree with and that I am going back and forth with, I think I would try to I would make it productive. Like, I would try to have a productive conversation. Be like, "This is what I believe. Why am I wrong in this?" I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, "Was this productive?" Like, we couldn't hear half the time when it was them 2.
as
Anything
much, or
else?
is it Gypsy
you
that
sound
hates
really
Nina?
No,
hostile.
I don't hate Nina. I'm
You
just letting
sound
your
real
viewers
hostile.
know that she's a dumbass,
Oh,
and
you need
everybody
some
that
She's a
dick.
follows
dumbass.
the
You need some
Reddit
dick.
community also
Oh,
Ken.
believe that she spreads
oh,
false bullshit. Like
okay.
she can't face anybody
Oh,
who critiques her.
Kenyatta.
She blocks and bans and deletes comments at anybody who goes
So
against her
Gypsy never
narrative
blocks or bans
because
anybody.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. The
Kenyatta.
point
How
is
cute,
that
Kenyatta.
she's miserable and pathetic, and it's sad. And I
Okay.
pity you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
Ooh, it got straight nasty for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it going.
Does anybody
Nina,
want to
Okay.
take a
All right,
poll?
all you
Kenyatta.
have.
You got
It's
it.
all you have. You
All right.
have nothing else. You have no
Okay.
identity
Okay.
opposite
If
Gypsy
you
Rose.
think I'm offended by
Gypsy
a man
Rose
that
owns
had a
and
baby by a
controls
murderer,
you, and you
you
know
are
that I'm
wild.
right. And
Okay, so so Ken, I'm gonna have to disagree with
laugh
that.
it off. That's all you got.
Hold on one second.
Gypsy Rose owns and controls you. Do you have any
Ken, I
content
have to
opposite of
disagree
her?
with that
No.
because
Actually, I have
Nina
a
can do
lot
other
more
content.
content other than his,
Yeah.
other than Gypsy.
Yeah, listen.
So
It
what are you
speaks
talking
for
about?
itself, and it ain't speaking
Oh,
very
okay.
loud. So
Oh, okay.
Ken, how do you feel about people accusing Gypsy for collecting blood money? Because the only reason why she's making money is because of what she did to her mother.
that's your perspective. And
What is your
and
perspective on
the
that?
same can be said about you, Morbid. What are you making your money off of right now?
Yeah, I would be curious to hear, like, really what Ken's idea of it is.
Your wife
Posting
or
Gypsy
your
Rose content
mistress.
every other night, right? So
I
in
make
a
money
way,
off your mistress.
Thank you.
You're
Says jobless Ken
fighting
that
by
lives
your own
off of his
But I don't need
murdering
money
baby
off.
mama?
Unlike you, Nina, I
Really?
do have an
That's
actual job.
crazy.
Unlike you, but keep posting your false bullshit
Unlike
videos to make money
Gypsy.
because that's all you have, right?
Unlike Gypsy.
Ken, I'm just asking you a serious
No, I'm
question.
just speaking. I'm speaking the truth. Am I not, Nina? I am.
I don't know if you
Nina
are.
didn't murder anybody.
Ken, I know you're
That's a nice little cop out argument, but the
ahead,
reality is
buddy.
you post fake, false bullshit, fake news to get money, right? Yes.
And what does Gypsy post to make money?
She doesn't post
Jealous
shit. Have you not seen that she
that
hasn't
your
posted
neighbors
anything in
are
a
renting
while?
out.
She lives her
I
life.
actually have pictures of everything, Ken. I have pictures of everything. I'm telling you,
Post
I
it,
will
lady. Post it. I'm telling you to
be on
post
this
it.
internet.
Post your pictures, lady. You ain't got shit.
He said, post
Ken,
them
you're
pictures.
feisty tonight,
Baby.
baby.
You ain't got shit.
It's
Nina's a
different.
fucking miserable loser who just has to post fake shit to get views and clicks. That's who she is. She has no identity or personality opposite of Gypsy Rose. Everybody who fucking watches this shit knows that's the truth. And anybody who actually believes her nonsense is just as stupid as she is. So
I'm curious about this. What are you talking about, Patience? Who did?
go ahead. And if you want to follow a lunatic
That's
into
why.
the blind, you go ahead.
Ken,
This is the man.
Everything I've said is 100% fact.
I probably need to get that off my thing.
Take it how you will.
Can we talk
But
about
I'm
the
speaking
book?
Nina,
the
your
truth.
microphone is cutting in and out.
I do feel like I'm like, we can disagree with somebody without calling them Kenyatta. Like, to me, that's like, I disagree with them. Like, I question things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, why not just be like, I disagree with you. Like, I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Like, I don't know, like the Kenyatta, that don't sit well with me. And if he was to say something and call her a name, it would be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we calling each other names? Like, he did call her a name earlier. And I'm like, that is just like, where are we getting here with this?
I have more questions about the book.
Right.
I have another
He doesn't want to talk
question
about
for
the book,
Ken.
though.
Yeah, Jody, I'm trying not to say
Ken, do you
that.
want to talk about the book or no?
That's how I
The
feel.
chat would
No,
love to hear from Nelly.
I got 30 seconds left. I have to go.
Uh-oh, Gypsy. Say hi to Gypsy.
So, do you remember that video you and Gypsy did where she's feeding you the baby food? And in the video, she's like, yeah, banana was my favorite. Remember that?
Okay, and?
I mean, how do you feel that she sucked a bottle for 24 years?
It's horrible that she went through such child abuse.
Her
What's your
mom
next
forced
question?
her mama forced
What?
her to suck that bottle.
Not her.
We know he a liar.
Any more like
Come
respectable,
on.
like
Hold
normal
on
questions
one
here? Or
second.
are we
Let
just
him
gonna,
respond. Go ahead, Ken.
Are there any other like normal questions here? Or are we
I
just
have
gonna
a
pick some like
question.
low hanging bullshit fruit?
I have
All
a
right.
Like
question.
the bottle, the baby bottle? I mean, that's a legitimate question. And I got questions about that barbecue sauce too, sir.
All that goes into the story of how Gypsy is a victim
Barbecue
of child
sauce,
abuse.
though.
Okay.
Nobody forced
Can I
Hey
ask a
T, do you
question?
have a serious question for
I have
Ken?
a serious question. I'm
Okay,
about
go
the
ahead.
book or anything. Okay, so I've heard certain content creators encouraging people to call CPS on Gypsy already, like even before the baby was born. What do you have to say about that?
I think
I
it's
think
all
it's
just
awful,
normal
personally, but I want to know what
hater
you want him to say.
behavior. It's just stupid because Aurora's in great hands. She's got a great loving mother. She's got a great loving father. She's got a great supportive and loving family, grandparents, etc. And she's gonna have a great life. So you can do whatever the hell you want, but
I don't think people.
Aurora
I do not
has a
think
great
people should
family.
call CPS. I do
No,
not
yeah, I don't
agree with
agree with
that.
that at all. That's why I
Uh-uh.
want to know what you thought. I'm not
It's
for
it's,
that.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Ken,
So, I mean,
what can
It's a
we
horrible thing.
expect that's different
It's-
from the trailer that Lifetime has put out?
all
Can
I
you
can tell you
can
is
you
to
give us
watch the
something?
show. I can't give you anything. Watch the show and you'll see.
Mhm.
But Aurora is born to a very happy and loving family, and she's going to have an amazing life. And she's been great so far. She's been the most amazing baby. She's been growing, and she's been.
All right, we'll end it there, you guys, because I've been going for over 2 hours. But this whole live, I do have it linked. Check it out because it just was wild. And listen, I don't know Nina, and I feel like people that support Nina are probably going to be mad at me. I don't know Nina well enough for nothing. I've watched a few of her videos, no problem against her. But when she came in, and I know they have like this back and forth, she came in like bam. And Clouds was like, but yeah, they got her fired and she's very upset with him. And I'm like, well, I could understand being very frustrated, but still, like, out of respect for the creator, like, you don't want to get their stuff, you don't want to get him banned because you're on there like saying things that could be taken as, you know, a certain way, so I don't know. I feel like it could have been so much more conductive if they just would have tried to talk to each other. Like she just would have got on and been like, listen, this is my problem with you. Like your people got me fired. So I don't like your wife, your girlfriend, your baby mama. She got me fired. This happened, that happened. This is why. How do you not know about this, Ken? How do you not know about that, Ken? Like, are you just dumb? Are you and Gypsy one and the same? Like, talk about it because you're not going to get anywhere. Like, yelling and screaming and yelling over each other and Kenyatta and blah, 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 blah. Like, it comes off as just like tacky and immature, not productive. But I do know sometimes when we are emotional, we can let our emotions take over and act whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I think if this would have been me, like, and people on my panel, I would have been muting people left and right. Like, no, we're not getting anywhere with that. We're not getting anywhere with that. We're not getting anywhere with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been muting people to try to really get to have a conversation. I love the way that Becca Scoops talked to Ken, even though Becca Scoops disagrees with Ken and Ken talked back to Becca Scoops. Like, they talked. Like, I don't remember at any point where one time Ken was like, well, you're wrong. Like, I don't care what you're saying. I don't care. You would think if you were a nurse, you would know better, but you obviously don't, and but he did not yell. He did not scream. Like, they had a pretty conductive conversation, I feel like. And we got more out of him when he was talking to Becca because they were like talking, yelling and screaming. Nothing. Like, that was just for entertainment, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I guess that was just for entertainment. I don't know. But before I get off here really quickly, you guys, I want to share a couple of things with y'all. Brittany in the chat has a Facebook page. I'm going to share with you guys the Beat It bracelets. Her husband has a 3D printer and they make cute little, look at that, with a little bee, love. And they have the glow in the dark stuff. So you can choose your colors if you want something. This is the key ring, and that it was made with a 3D printer, from my understanding. And it's glow in the dark. Wicked. These things is for your keychains. It's the movie Wicked, made with a 3D printer, so they glow in the dark. Look how stinking cute. Oh, this is one that says Jeep on it. So if you have a Jeep, if you drive a Jeep, look how cute these are. Her Facebook page is linked already in my description box. I'm gonna show her stuff for a few videos to come, just because she is a small-owned business. It's Brittany in the chat, one of the subscribers right here. Let me find her. Brittany, say hey real quick so I can show. She's been in the chat this whole time. Her husband has a 3D printer right here. And this is AirTags. She made this little cover for AirTags. She made that. So if you want a little keychain, super cute, they can do these 3D prints for you. Look at that one, so cute. There's Brittany right there. You can check her page out. It is already linked. She has an Instagram and stuff as well. So I will link that as well after this live. But I have to go. Me and the hubby have to go somewhere. And I appreciate everybody coming in the chat. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. The last night was crazy, and I was in the gym watching this. And I was like, mind blown. But I thought it was interesting because even though Ken said he can't give interviews, he basically gave an interview, and I don't know if he's going to get in trouble for it, but I was listening. But if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. And everyone in here, I appreciate you guys being respectful to each other. I hope y'all were respectful to each other. I didn't get to see all the comments. Can you do a body language video on Blake and Justin? I have been Yes, I may do that. I have been watching that, and I'm going to tell you where I'm leaning. I'm Justin. I'm with Justin. Body language, like, yes. But I will look into that. Love you too, Miranda. But I will look into doing a body language on Blake and Justin. I know that is a big thing right now, and I've been kind of keeping up with it a little bit, and I'm team Justin. But anyways, I was literally it was wild. Yeah, I was at the gym and I stayed probably twice as long. But you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see y'all later. Bye, guys. Oh, and Bree, I appreciate you coming to the chat, and I hope everything was like good in the chat. Everyone is welcome here. I don't care if you're Nina. I don't care if you're anybody. We want people to come in here and be able to have a conversation, because the only way we're going to get answers to questions is if we can be nice. Like, people brought up that Nina got someone fired. I asked. People brought up something about the R word, a page that had, I asked, because I want to be able to ask those questions. And if we run people off because we don't like them, it's not going to happen, or because y'all don't like them, or because we don't like them, or because whatever. Like, we want to be able to have people in the chat so we can ask those questions and, get answers. Because I can tell you this, watching a creator and just listening to their every word, still do your research. I know a creator right now that lies out of her hoo-ha about stuff. I was friends with her at one point. I tried to be friends with her at one point, and I knew that she was lying about things, and that's why I could not be friends with her, because she was lying about things. So if you watch a creator and you just take everything that they say as facts, even me, like, do your research on what I say. I don't care. That's fine. But just because you listen to someone and they're saying X, Y, and Z, still look out for it. Still go, see if you can find it elsewhere. See if you can find someone saying the obvious and bring in proof, because you never know. Okay. I love you guys. I will.